SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Hi, this is Dr. Andy Barlow with the Chiropractic Physician Center of Tupelo and author of the #1 best-selling book, The Code Breaker. Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Then call my office at 662-844-1414 and order my new book, The Code Breaker.
This is Gerard Gibert, and thank you for listening to MidDays here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Get ready to go beyond the headlines and join a meaningful conversation with people from around the state. Hello. You're listening to MidDays with Gerard Gibert here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Everyone, and welcome to MidDays, SuperTalk Mississippi. I'm your host, Gerard Gibert, along with Rhino in the Element Wealth Studios, guiding you through the middle of your day with facts, fodder, and fine music. Morning, Rhino.
Howdy, howdy.
Well, little day off yesterday. Well, I say I was taking a day off. I actually had the honor and privilege of addressing the Jackson Rotary Club. I happen to be a member of the Jackson Rotary Club and have a little presentation I've delivered a number of times, and I continue to update it, and it's just a little history of my entrepreneurial journey with some fodder and some kind of interesting, humorous stories associated with that, and some not so humorous as well, and pivot over to my favorite subjects, of course, of technology and economics, and share some data points that are always received with a great deal of shock and surprise. And it's stuff I've talked about here on the program before, that the Democrats' favorite target, of course, Amazon, they don't pay their fair share. And then folks are shocked when they realize that's because they're still writing off losses that they incurred for years before they ever started to turn a profit, and they make massive investments in capital equipment, and they're able to write those off in the year of purchase in accordance with present tax law, and they don't make a whole lot of money even without that. Most people are surprised to find out. And when you deduct those net operating loss carry forwards and the investment they make in capital equipment, you end up with no taxable income. Doesn't mean they're not going to eventually pay taxes on that income because they get to write that off in that year. And I know I'm starting off a little wonky here, but folks are just so shocked to see that. They're also shocked to see just how they compare Amazon. And I'm not bashing them whatsoever. I'm just sharing information to Apple. Apple, of course, a company that is on pace this year to produce about $350 billion of sales of revenue and likely to crest that $100 billion of profit mark. First time in the history of a U.S. company, in our history of a U.S. company achieving that distinction. So that's going to be pretty cool when they do that, I think. But just compare them to Amazon, which is on pace this year to maybe make $20 billion. They make less in a year than Apple does. Less than a year than Apple does in a quarter. Yeah, I said that right to start with. In a quarter. So, but you never hear the left. Why don't they attack Apple? Not that I want them to, honestly. It's always Amazon. They don't pay their fair share.
It's because Amazon's the most recent target of unionization efforts.
That's true. You're absolutely right about that. But anyhow,
you got to demonize whichever big evil corporation they're trying to unionize next.
Oh gosh, it's always crazy. All that stuff is, but anyhow, that information's always received with a bit of a shock. And then the healthcare industry, another one I've talked about quite a bit. The top 5 health insurers, carriers in this country that provide about 85% of the private coverage in the nation, their combined total aggregate net profit. And I'm not defending insurance companies here. I'm not promoting them either. I'm just sharing facts. But the combined net profit of those top 5 insurers is about what Apple makes in a quarter and a half. The top 5 combined, what Apple makes in a quarter and a half. Annual net income of the top 5 combined, the aggregate, versus Apple in a quarter and a half. It's incredible. Their net profit is about 1% of the entire healthcare industry. 1%. Again, not defending them, just sharing data, just sharing facts. The golf tournament, what a great time we had out there. Appreciate you handling the duties here in the studios. We were out there soaking up the sun and the rays on the 18th fairway, and just about where the players were hitting their drives. Had a great view of all the groups coming through. They're so dang good, of course, but quite the dramatic finish. On a Sunday, Mackenzie Hughes ends up winning in a sudden death playoff against Sepp Straka. Came down to the second playoff hole, and Hughes sunk an 8-foot birdie on number 18. And look, it was getting dark. I think maybe could have gotten in one more hole if the tournament hadn't been decided. And the next, of course, progression in that sequence is play tomorrow. Come back tomorrow. That'd have been a weird deal. I don't think that's happened. But
so you're saying they don't have a golf club, and all right, you grab here, next guy grabs here, next guy grabs here. All right, slide it in this way.
Right.
Whoever winds up on top wins.
Right. Yeah. No, they don't do it that way. They make them go tee it up. But we were blessed with fabulous weather. The gallery, the crowds were good, strong. And I think the folks of Mississippi were treated to an excellent event. Excellent. Top-notch event. Great field. Great finish, great sponsors, Sanderson Farms Championship, great venue, great quality course. Really showcased, I think, the best of Mississippi at this PGA Tour event, the Sanderson Farms Championship. And what a blast it was interviewing PGA touring professional Davis Riley, a Mississippi native. Alex Payton was able to work a little magic and find him someone from the PGA to get him on the show. I mean, he came straight off his 18th hole in his round that day and came over to the tent, sat down, and what a delight he was to talk to. Just such a consummate professional, and of course he led the tournament after day one, firing a 6 under 66. He was 1 under in day two for 7 under. I didn't actually check where he finished in the tournament, but really proud of him being a Mississippian and representing our state so well. He obviously is an incredible player and got a bright future ahead of him and did really well for the state, I believe. So appreciate him coming on the program as well. Coming up on the program today, by the way, we've got Judy Young in the next segment, the CEO of Coastal Mississippi. Mike Love, how about that, Rhino, of Beach Boys fame. Mike Love is going to call in. That's because the Beach Boys will be performing at the Beau Rivage Theater. 2 shows, Thursday, October the 6th, and Friday, October the 7th. That, of course, is in conjunction with the big event going on the coast, Cruisin the Coast. And we're going to be down there. Is MidDays broadcasting live for America's largest block party, Cruisin the Coast. Non-stop fun and entertainment all along the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Rated the #1 car show in the country by USA Today. We're going to be down there tomorrow with our friends from Coastal Mississippi Tourism at the Biloxi Town Green. Again, America's largest block party. Visit coastalmississippi.com for more info. Headed down there this evening and looking forward to the festivities and being on stage, the platform there on the Biloxi Green, overlooking all those incredibly beautiful vintage vehicles. The weather's supposed to be spectacular. So that should be fun. At 12:05 today, Russ Latino, president of Empower Mississippi, he'll come on, and I'm sure he and I will find something to talk about related to, we got a session coming up, legislative session. It's only about 3 months away. It's hard to believe. And we've got national matters to discuss as well. So looking forward to those interviews, friends. We're in the Element Well studios, as you know. Beautiful weather across the state of Mississippi. We got some sound. We're running out of time in this segment, but we've got some interesting sound to play for you in the program today. We got Kamala Harris. She's too become a gaffe machine like her boss, the president. And the White House is always spinning it, defending it. Just don't do it so you don't have to defend it. What about that? Try something different.
Top of mind.
Top of mind, Joe Biden. That's what Karine Jean-Pierre said when Joe was searching for a deceased member of Congress amongst the attendees. So anyhow, we've got some sound there, and we've got an interesting little soundbite from a Democrat member of Congress representing the great state of Wisconsin. You got to tune in for that and hear what he has to say about free market capitalism. He and I are we're gonna have a little discussion about that. Unfortunately, he won't be around, but I'm gonna discuss it and analyze it. Time for a break right here on Middays from the Element Well Studios. Judy Young, CEO of Coastal Mississippi, up next.
How do you and your staff get things done? Teamwork. When a team works together, they can do anything. That's why all of us at Janny King, the King of Clean, are excited to team up with you. At Janny King, our team has been working together for over 35 years, cleaning your places for work, education, medical attention, eateries, stadiums, and worship. Let our team help your team. Go to JannyKingCleans.com and trust your clean to the king. That's JannyKingCleans.com.
Janny King, the King of Clean.
Hi, this is Keith Halsey with Halsey Insurance. As your local independent insurance agency, we guarantee fast answers and friendly service. When you have questions, we are here with answers you can trust. Our specialty is home, auto, life, and all types of business insurance. Partnering with the top insurance carriers, let us shop your insurance and do the heavy lifting. We'll find you the best coverages with the lowest rates. Call 601-856-7707 or HalseyInsurance.com. That's HAWSEY Insurance.com.
Family Termite is a proud VIP sponsor of the Handyman Show on SuperTalk, Mississippi. Whether you're a proud DIYer or a seasoned veteran, Mississippi's handyman Buddy Slowick has the answers to your home improvement questions each Saturday from 10 till noon.
Be sure and check out the newly remodeled Basil's in Fondren, where you get simple food done well. And don't forget to drop by Basil's Fountain View at the Renaissance. Go to eatbasils.com for online ordering for both locations. That's Basil's.
Do you suffer from daily joint pain? Capital Ortho's team of board-certified, fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeons are specifically trained to help you say goodbye to joint pain forever. With same-day appointments, our knowledgeable physicians are here to deliver immediate and accurate results. Why wait? Don't live with joint pain any longer. Give Capital Ortho a call today at 601-987-8200 or visit CapitalOrtho.com. Let Capital Ortho help you say goodbye to joint pain and get you back to living your best life.
Do you suffer from allergies, sinus, or respiratory problems, or just want to improve the quality of air you breathe in your home or business? Pure Air Consultants can help. As your indoor environmental specialists, we clean air ducts, install UV lights, and service all makes and models of heating and cooling systems. We offer the most dependable Energy Star qualified systems in the industry. Call Pure Air Consultants today, 601-939-7420.
A proud provider of Rheem Home AC systems. Are you feeling it? Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
At Fillmore Buick GMC, we strive to make buying your next vehicle easy and take care of you long after you drive off the lot. That means upfront and honest pricing, doing everything we can to make the time you spend in the dealership as short or as long as you need. It means we understand that purchasing a vehicle is more than just a transaction for you. We want you to enjoy the experience as much as we appreciate your business. Find your next Buick, GMC, or pre-owned vehicle at FillmoreBuickGMC.com. Fillmore Buick GMC. You drive everything we do.
Gallo here with a special invitation to join us weekday morning, 6 till 9. Breaking news, quick shots, analysis, all right here on Super Talk Jackson 97.3. Middays with Gerard Gibert.
What? This is so awesome.
On SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Welcome back, everyone. Middays from the Element Well Studios, Super Talk, Mississippi. Gerard and Rhino. Judy Young, CEO of Coastal Mississippi, our guest on Middays. Thanks for coming on, Judy.
Thanks for having me, Gerard. It's pretty great weather at the coast.
Absolutely. What about Rhino's musical selection there, bumping us into this segment? I'd say that was a propos for Cruisin the Coast.
I liked it. I was kind of jamming as you came in. Sorry.
That's awesome. Absolutely. So, how's it been going the last day or two here?
You know, it's been really kind of fast and furious, not like the movie, but just lots of moving parts. And the fact that the entire stretch of the 62 miles has all these volunteers that are just coordinating and making it happen, it really is a testament to the characters of the coast.
Yeah. Well, we so enjoyed being with you guys last year and hosting the show there from the Biloxi Green, and we're looking forward to doing it again this year. Going to be down there, but the town green there. But what I recall is sitting on our little perch there on the stage and overlooking just a sea of those beautiful classic vintage vehicles. But more importantly, Judy, it's the common love and passion those owners and attendees have for those vehicles. And it's just something that bonds them together, and everybody's just having fun and so upbeat and positive. We need more of that in our lives, and you get that at Cruisin the Coast.
You do. It kind of blew me away that people were setting up their Easy Ups last Wednesday.
Wow.
And they would sit their lawn chairs out there, and they brought their whole families, and they're getting set up and ready to go. And last night was amazing in Long Beach. Great music. Oh my gosh. And the cars were just, I saw the one that I want. My husband was not amused at all, but it was beautiful, and I would look good in it.
That is awesome. So, the thing that really stands out as well as USA Today says this is the #1 car show in the country. And as a result, it does attract these vehicle owners and just enthusiasts from across the country come into the beautiful Mississippi Gulf Coast. What a shot in the arm that is for the economy.
It's huge. $33 to $36 million economic impact. That is, the importation of wealth, bringing new money in, not circulating the same money.
Right.
And having an impact that's just across all 3 counties and 44 states, Canada and England this year.
Wow. That is
so
amazing.
Really elevating Mississippi and coastal Mississippi. It's a great boost for the state economy as well.
No doubt. And of course, the coast, home to so many great hotels and restaurants, other attractions as well, the beautiful coast itself, the cruise in those vehicles down Highway 90 overlooking the beautiful Gulf Coast and the beach. What an incredible venue for an event like this. And this thing has just grown through the years and gotten bigger and better. And it's talked about in the circles of these classic automobile enthusiasts. It's got to be.
It's paramount for them. I actually have relatives that are in the car auction world, and they talked about it for years. So I'm excited to be able to be a part of it this year. And I think really recognizing all of those first responders and the coordination between them across the coast. They were Southern hospitality at its best so far, and they've always been that way. They deal with big crowds and lots of folks and keep everybody safe. So there's a lot of tireless work that goes on, and I really appreciate those folks who make it happen.
Yeah. You know, we just had the Sanderson Farms Championship, as you well know, Judy, up here in central Mississippi. Now we got Cruisin the Coast on the beautiful Gulf Coast. The thing that when I talk to folks and interview folks associated with these events, the thing that resonates from those who come to Mississippi maybe for these events, right? Or those that have never been here, the common theme is the people are so nice. The people are so nice. Do you hear that a lot as well, Judy?
I hear it constantly, and for me, it's the glue that brings the entire coast together. We are consistently so nice and so hospitable. I have to tell you that I'm amazed. The economic impact study said 80+% rated our hospitality as excellent.
Wow.
And 90% of them come back. So that doesn't happen other places.
Right.
For 3 entire counties
Wow.
worth of, those front door people. C-store, gas stations, grocery stores, lodging, restaurants, all the way down the line.
Yeah.
I saw someone yesterday actually stop and pull over and just help this gentleman with his vehicle, and it was a utility truck from one of the counties.
Wow. That's really
Very
cool.
nice.
And you made a great point. The 3 coastal counties, of course, all of which border the Gulf of Mexico, they really all do support this, right? The counties do, the cities do, the communities do, the people do, of course the businesses do. And it's got to be special when you have this one event that really does bring them all together, where they're all collaborating and cooperating for the good of the entire coast.
It's tremendous. I was looking at the schedule and everything that these different communities step up to the plate to host, to clear out, to bring in stages, to have equipment brought in, to be ready to put our best foot forward for, over, I think it was 8,500 the last time I heard registrants.
Wow.
And the average party size is 4.5. And the average stay is 6 nights. So this is an investment, especially in this time frame, for the communities and for the people who are coming and participating.
Yeah.
Gas prices have not kept them away, and these are some passionate car aficionados, and I just love it. I've seen things light up and spin around on a car yesterday that I've never seen before. So
that is awesome. And we should also point out and credit, there's a lot of folks involved with putting on this event. There's a lot of work behind the scenes to pull all this off. And those of us who get to enjoy it maybe don't stop and think about that and appreciate it, but it's a lot of work, isn't it, Judy?
It is. This is those great events where everyone thinks it just happens, but it takes most of the rest of the year to put it together. And I just was amazed. They came to the Coliseum, all the volunteers, to stuff the bags for the rest of the volunteers. That was a production. I mean, they've got it going on. They know which city's going to get what and who within those sponsors gets what, and that's before anything ever happens here. So I am, Woody and his crew, they are so dedicated.
Yes.
And they also know everything about those cars.
They do.
So I'm always surprised. And I mean, last night there was a great concert, and half the group was watching the concert, and then half the group was watching the cars, and it was a lot of fun. Great horns, full band. I mean, it was kind of a Supremes like. There was dancing dudes in sequin jackets, and it was a performance. I loved it.
People having fun, and that's just so good. Yeah. And honestly, when they think about the Mississippi Gulf Coast, that's what we want them to think about. This is where you go to have fun and let your hair down and relax a little bit. We got Mike Love from the Beach Boys coming on the program at 11:05 today. The Beach Boys are going to be performing 2 shows right there at the Beau Rivage Theater this coming Thursday and Friday. How cool is that?
That is fantastic. I'm so excited. I heard you promo that he was going to be on the show today, so I'm sure that we'll be hanging out listening to that. And I mean, how stellar is it to be this coast-wide event with these national and internationally recognized bands and performers, Jay Leno, the Beach Boys. I mean, we live in a rich, rich place with lots of culture and lots of characters.
No doubt. That's so awesome. Well, Judy, congratulations as we approach the event. We look forward to seeing everybody down there, and I know it's going to be just fantastic for the duration of the week. We'll be seeing you and talking to you soon. Thanks a lot, Judy.
Thank you so much.
Judy Young, CEO of Coastal Mississippi, has been our guest on Middays. We'll step aside from the Element Well Studios. We're coming right back with more.
Had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone.
From the SeabrookPaint.com Weather Center, I'm Bob Sullender. For all your paint and coating needs, go to SeabrookPaint.com. Today, sunny skies, high near 83. Tonight, mostly clear, low around 57. Your Wednesday rolls in with sunny skies, high near 84. Wednesday evening, mostly clear, low around 56. And for your Thursday, sunny conditions, a beautiful day on tap, high near 87. This weather brought to you by our friends at Gaddis McLaurin Mercantile since 1871. For all your deer camp needs, stop by today. Gaddis McLaurin Mercantile in downtown Bolton.
Are you a hard worker? Are you dependable? Do you have a good attitude? Do you want to be part of a team? If so, the Black Label Bridge Builders at Key Constructors offers lead men and women purpose-driven career opportunities with on-the-job and outside training, leadership development, and benefits. To learn more about what it takes to be a Black Label Bridge Builder, please visit Key's website at keyconstructors.com. Please also follow at Key Constructors on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook to see regular updates on the Black Label Bridge Builders.
Hey, this is Will with Service Specialists. Are you looking for new employees, spending hours searching recruitment sites? For over 50 years, Service Specialists has been connecting hard-to-find qualified candidates for employers. We have candidates for all your administrative, professional, manufacturing, and industrial needs. Check us out online at ServiceSpecialistLTD.com. That's ServiceSpecialistLTD.com. Service Specialists, your expert recruiters helping employers and job candidates connect since 1967 with offices in Ridgeland, Canton, and Oxford.
Hello, Mississippi. This is Dr. Gary Jones, CEO of Vantage Health Plan. Back in 1994, I started Vantage with a group of local doctors who believe that patient health, your health, is our top priority. That's why Vantage makes it easy for you to get the care you need with quality, affordable health insurance that puts you first. I know it's not what you usually expect from a health plan, but now you can.
Visit VantageHealthPlan.com for more information. Vantage Health Plan, the freedom to live a healthy life.
Protect your home and office with Havard Pest Control, a family-owned and operated business for 75 years. Havard provides termite and pest services with free quotes, low monthly payments, free recalls, and unmatched customer service. For more information, visit HavardPest.com.
Your window tint headquarters at Auto Trim Designs on Highway 80 in Pearl is now also your best source for the lasting protection of Expel paint protection film. Your car is too precious to fail to protect it from bugs, rocks, and road debris. For more info, go to AutoTrimDesigns.com.
Research shows moving is one of life's most stressful events, but thanks to 2 Men and a Truck Ridgeland, it doesn't have to be. We have everything you need: a professional team who will customize your move, a schedule to fit your convenience Monday through Saturday, and all of the necessary moving supplies, including free padding and stretch wrap to protect your belongings. Don't stress. Let 2 Men and a Truck handle your home or business moving needs. Visit 2menandatruck.com for a free, no-obligation estimate.
I'm JT Mitchell, and you're listening to SuperTalk Mississippi News. The Mississippi State Fair returns this Thursday, and with some new security measures. Commissioner Andy Gibson explains.
We've got 7 entry points that everybody will come through as they enter the Midway, and we put in place an age limit after 9 o'clock. If you're coming in after 9, if you're under 18, you have to have adult supervision with you after 9 o'clock.
The new security measures, which also include metal detectors, are being implemented after a mass shooting took place at the fairgrounds back in April. And 5 people were shot and others were injured in a stampede after a shooting broke out following a high school homecoming celebration in Marks, Mississippi. According to police, the shooting occurred between First and MLK after the high school's homecoming game. As of now, 1 person is in custody. To learn more, log on to supertalk.fm.
Digital banking from the Citizens Bank is great if you're like me, shall we say, night person. With our secure online banking and mobile app, you can bank on your own time. With a touch of the screen, you can pay bills, make deposits, even transfer funds on the fly. See digital banking in a new light, just not sunlight. Download the app today. The Citizens Bank, member FDIC.
America's largest block party, Cruisin the Coast, is back October 2nd through 9th, celebrating its 26th anniversary with nonstop fun and entertainment from Moss Point to Waveland on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Middays with Gerard Gibert will be there live with our friends from Coastal Mississippi Tourism Wednesday from 10 to 1 p.m. at the Biloxi Town Green. Rated the #1 car show in the country by USA Today, it's America's largest block party. For more information, visit coastalmississippi.com.
Mississippi news doesn't sleep, and neither do we. At SuperTalk.fm, you get news from all over the state. From stories to keep you safe, to legislation that could affect your bank account, to weather reports to help you better plan your weekend. Plus, find in-depth interviews with the newsmakers in the SuperTalk podcast archives. And everything Mississippi sports. Your Mississippi news. All the time, on air and online. At SuperTalk.fm.
Attention, adoring fans! It's time for
Middays with Gerard Gibert on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Well, I was born a coal miner's daughter in a cabin on a hill in Butcher Holler. We were poor, but we had love. That's the one thing that Daddy made sure of. He shoveled coal to make a poor man's dollar. My daddy worked all night in the Vanlier coal mines, all day long in the field hoeing corn. Mommy rocked the babies at night and read the Bible by the coal oil light, and everything would start all over come break of morn.
Well, that would be the sweet, iconic voice of the great Loretta Lynn. If you haven't heard, folks, she passed away just a couple hours ago at the age of 90. Country, you know, I got to tell you, Rhino, it's not that I'm opposed to present day, more current country music, but I don't know, having grown up on that, when I think about country music, that's what I think about. It's just classic, still good today, never goes out of style. And that's back when I think country music in general was storytelling. That's what it was. And that's what she's doing there. And that's her life. She's talking about her real life. And so much of the music. And it was music about life's challenges and trials and tribulations and successes.
Well, you can give a lot of credit to Loretta Lynn for the transition away from it just being, quote-unquote, country western.
Yeah.
Where everything country had a Texas twang with the frills and the chaps and the cowboy hat. And that still had a big presence in country music.
Yeah.
But Loretta Lynn helped open the door to a more rural aspect of country music where it didn't have to be the Wild West and cattle rustling and all that. It could be stories of the everyman from every walk of life, and she shined a spotlight on Appalachia.
Yeah, no doubt. Which was a little different, as you said, than the more traditional country western type theme. All of which was good as well. I think about, just me personally, I think about Marty Robbins and the way I think he kind of blended the country and the western and told a lot of stories that were more related to the western United States as part of that, and cowboys in general. And then I think about the great Patsy Cline, who I just think has maybe one of the greatest female voices of all time. Unbelievable range and quality. But very sad to hear of her passing. Now, I think Coal Miner's Daughter, of course, a movie was made about that. And it was a fantastic movie. What was her name? Sissy Spacek that played the key?
Yeah.
Yeah, who did a fantastic job. May have won the Academy Award for that. Of course, that's back when the Academy actually awarded the Oscar to those who performed the best. You remember those days, don't you? When that meant something. But fantastic movie. I think that portrayed the life and really told the story on the big screen of the song. I think that may have been her biggest hit, Loretta Lynn, Coal Miner's Daughter. Certainly had to be the top 2 or 3 on up there. I remember, was it Don't Come Home a-Drinking with Lovin' on Your Mind was another one, and right, the duet with Conway Twitty. Was it Mississippi Woman and Louisiana Man? Did I get that right, or I got it backwards?
Louisiana Woman, Mississippi Man.
Okay, I got it backwards, yeah. Well, that was great, though. That was just fun. Good music. But anyhow, just wanted to pass that on. No doubt she will be missed and, just lived a good life. I can't remember any scandal or controversy. Maybe I just missed it, which is unfortunately a little unusual with someone who achieved her level of stardom and success. I'm generalizing a bit, of course, but she just seemed to be a good person, lived a good life, and certainly produced a lot of good music that made a lot of people happy and provided a lot of pleasure. And that's what these artists do, the circle of life. Anyhow, Loretta Lynn, dead at the age of 90. Incredible. Carolyn Starkville says that Oktibbeha County Regional Medical Center sent out a COVID message this morning. Transmissions have gone up. Employees required to wear masks in the hospital. And they figured out that, for the most part, they don't do squat. Doctors' offices, patients not required to wear a mask, but encourage. Interesting. Appreciate you passing that on, Carol. I haven't heard about any particular spike to the point that it was stressing out the hospitals. Have you?
No, but that's the language that's been used across the country in the last week or two by universities and hospitals and municipalities across the country, basically saying, hey, we still got COVID, you got to keep wearing a mask, because a lot of the orders were ending at the end of September.
I got it. Just have to hold on to that power, don't they? Yeah. I will say that I have just anecdotally observed less mask wearing, seems like. I'm not sure why it's more prevalent in the African American community. I don't know, honestly. I don't know if that's like, you hate to label people and profile people, but to some extent I wonder, are they likely to be Democrats and doing it out of deference to the president and the president's administration and their very strict guidance and rules on COVID? I'm just speculating. I don't know. And I've honestly even thought about asking, but then I realized, no, it's none of my business. Not going to get in their grill. Just asking respectfully, honestly. But it seems like it's calmed down. I noticed at Mass on Sunday that 3 had masks on. 3. And that's down. I would say a couple of months ago, it was more like 10, 12. And some of those same people I've noticed are not wearing masks. I still see people by themselves in a vehicle wearing masks. I don't get that. I really don't. Those are the ones I really want to ask. Well, what's the deal here? So, anyhow, Ben from Madison points out on the C Spire text line, which of course is 601-879-4395 if you'd like to join the conversation. Ben says 30 days or so until the election, big test coming up. Biggest test, he says, midterms in a long time. Yeah, I hear you, Ben, but it does seem like every single time it's the most important election of our lives. And Ben, I'm not trying to downplay what you're saying there whatsoever, but I think there's a tendency to get wrapped up in that. And usually it's because, if you think about it, you get one party in control, which is what we have now, right? What's so funny?
I was reminded once again of Meathead's stupidity on full public display.
I've been watching that too.
Less than a day ago, he tweeted out, "The choice in the midterm is simple. Don't want to live in a fascist state? Vote Democrat."
It's interesting because I absolutely saw that and took a screenshot of it. Yeah, the choice in the midterm is simple. Don't want to live in a fascist state. It capitalized, by the way. Fascist state. Vote Democrat. Is he implying there, Rhino, that Democrats don't have any fascist tendencies? The ones that want to control every aspect of your life? No, they're not fascist. A couple of things.
First, he just had a new one an hour ago. Eyes on the prize. Vote blue. Indict Trump. Save democracy.
Is it safe to say he's not a Trump fan?
It's safer to say that Meathead's an idiot.
He is an idiot. There's no doubt about that. I agree with you, though, Ben. So just back to that line of thinking. I think when you have a situation where one party, as we have right now, is in control, and it just feels like that they keep pushing the envelope, right? How further left can we go here on everything? I mean, just everything. That it feels like things are coming apart at the seams, and I think it's particularly intensified, amplified when you've got a rather languishing economy, and in particular, people are feeling the sting of high prices in everything. They're sick of it, and it's hurting them. Then you got this whole school stuff, whole education world that's just absolutely gone awry, and I've by the way, over the last couple of days, just found more reports and more articles, more accounts of stuff going on that's very disturbing in schools. This gender ideology stuff is out of control. It's out of control. We got some sound to share with you. When we come back, Rhino, if you would, we'll tee up this sound we have from this Wisconsin congressman, his thoughts on free markets. That coming up on Middays from the Element Well Studios after this break.
What if there was a paint that could awaken something as old as that Rip Van Winkle guy? Hey, what? Because it could adhere to the most weathered exteriors and completely restore its youth.
Hey, there's hair on my head again!
If a paint could give any time-worn surface stunning new life, is it still paint? Regal Select Exterior from Benjamin Moore. Paint like no other.
Seabrook Paints in Jackson and Ridgeland. Visit SeabrookPaints.com.
Don't just get a job, get a career with great salary and benefits. The Mississippi Department of Corrections has just increased your salary by 10%. If you qualify, you can be a corporal, sergeant, captain, or major, with base salaries ranging from over $36,000 to over $47,000. Add to that retirement medical benefit packages up to $17,000 more, all with paid-on-the-job training not far from where you live. Visit MDOCMS.gov to apply today. That's MDOC.ms.gov.
Hello, I'm Gary Jolly from the Tractor Store. LS Tractor understands your passion for the land, and just like you, LS Tractor is committed to excellence and superior products. LS Tractor comes with a long list of standard features that are unmatched by other brands and backed with the LS commitment to provide exceptional customer service and satisfaction. You get a lot more for your money with the LS Tractor. Come to the Tractor Store in Richland to experience the LS difference. The Tractor Store in Richland.
Magnolia Health is made for Mississippi. A statewide network of specialists and primary care physicians at more than 17,000 locations, community outreach programs, and quality jobs for nearly 400 Mississippians. Our commitment to building healthier communities in Mississippi has never been stronger. Learn more at magnoliahealthplan.com/benefits.
This is the opening agri-market report. Opened at the New York Cotton Exchange. December cotton was up $3.69 to $87.89. March cotton was up $3.54 to $85.73. The open of the Chicago Board of Trade, November soybeans were up 15 3/4 to $13.89 3/4 per bushel. January soybeans were up 15 1/2 to $13.99 1/2 per bushel. December corn was up 4 3/4 to $6.85 1/2 per bushel. March corn was up 4 1/4 to $6.91 3/4 per bushel. The mercantile December live cattle was down 35 to $147.67. February live cattle was down 2 cents to $151.52. November feeders down 82 to $175.22. January feeders down 55 to $176.47. At the open, the Dow Jones is up 717 points, 30,209. I'm Dixon Williams. This is SuperTalk Mississippi Agri News Network.
Let it snow at Mistletoe Marketplace. Hi, I'm the 2022 Mistletoe Marketplace Chair, Kristen Blackard.
And I'm this year's co-chair, Adrienne Louie.
We invite you to join us for the 42nd Annual Premier Holiday Shopping Experience.
Plus holiday entertainment and special events sure to excite those young and young at heart.
Funds raised help us host over 30 community projects and initiatives each year. Buy your tickets today to join in the fun and help support our community.
Propane is the energy for everyone, especially farmers like you. It's a single energy source that can fuel most anything on your farm. From irrigation and grain drying to building heating, propane has you covered. Reliable, hard-working propane will help you improve yields, protect your land, and save money. See how propane can help meet your farm's energy needs by visiting propane.com now. Propane, it's the energy for everyone.
Arm yourself with everything you need to take on your day. Wake up with Gallo tomorrow on 97.3 FM. Super Talk, Mississippi.
Come on.
Middays with Gerard Gibert.
All right, we are back
on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Welcome back to Middays, everyone. Super Talk Mississippi, the J. Giles Band with Freeze Frame. Andy and Jackson on the C Spire text line. I follow Cruisin the Coast Facebook. A visitor to Cruisin the Coast posted her husband lost his wallet while down there. Several posted that it was announced at the concert someone turned in a wallet. How cool is that this day and time? Thanks for sharing that, Andy. It is very cool. It is really cool. And, you know, as far as the good people of Mississippi are concerned, I'm not surprised. Not whatsoever. Just good people. I am a coal miner's daughter. Most of my family were coal miners. I was raised in the hollers in West Virginia. I love Loretta Lynn, and she will be truly missed. Appreciate you sharing that on the C Spire text line. Really cool. All right, so, you know, Rob Reiner proclaiming that you must vote blue to avoid fascism, right? Just ridiculous.
Save democracy.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, you're right, Rob. Fascist state is the way he termed it. So, speaking of fascist state, listen to this sound from, this was actually on a radio, on a podcast, not a radio, a podcast from about a week or so ago, I believe. This is Representative Mark Pocan, a representative from Wisconsin.
Ultimately, we're watching the wealthy get way too wealthy. Corporations aren't paying any of their fair share. Until we decide that actually people, through a democracy, make the decisions rather than somehow the free market is the altar that we're worshiping on, that's going to be the problem that we're going to face. You can't have a nation based on grift. And
I love when I send these videos to Rhino. He's never heard them before, and he's listening and watching them. And these eye rolls start in the middle of them. Because this idiot says, oh, no, we can't let the free market rule here. So think about that, folks. What he's saying here is that we can't worship free markets. And guess what is embedded in free markets? Freedom. What he's really saying is, no, the government's got to control industry, has to control the economy. Well, last time I looked up the definition of fascism, that's a key tenet of it, is central planning dictators seize the control of the economy and all economic assets, typically for their personal gain. That's how we ended up with a Venezuela that just a few years ago was a thriving, robust, free market economy. And now they're in line for toilet paper because fascists seize control. That's what this idiot is saying. I get fired up about this. This is a sitting member of Congress
who's dumber than a bag of hammers. But then again, that's par for the course for just about anybody with a D by their name.
This is just over the top.
They don't have sense to pour piss out of a boot with instructions written on the heel.
We can't let you make your own decisions, you free marketeers. We've got to intervene. We, the almighty government, we will tell you what you will buy, how much you will buy, how much, if we let you buy anything, how much you will pay for it, how much you will produce over there, producers. We know better than the market. Did he actually say genuflecting at the altar of free markets or something to that effect?
Worshipping at the altar.
Worshipping. Okay, same deal. I'm sure if he thought about it, he'd also say, those of us who believe in free markets, yeah, I praise free markets. You know, I only worship my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. That's a stupid word to say. And I don't genuflect to anything or anybody, except when I go to Mass. Right? Part of the protocol. But I'm genuflecting to the Almighty. But this guy's an idiot. What they genuflect to, what they worship, is climate change and racist stuff and gender ideology. That's what makes me mad, as you can tell. But I just can't comprehend how a person gets elected to the U.S. Congress in this country when they're lashing out at freedom and free markets, and dummy Rob Reiner says, you got to vote for these people or else you'll end up with a fascist state. This guy just said he's promoting, he's advocating for, he's stumping for a fascist state. Can't let those people out there make their own consuming decisions. It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Okay. Taking a break right here with the Beach Boys, of course, bumping us out of this segment. When we return after the news, Beach Boy Mike Love joins us. Stay with us.
You're listening to WFMN Flora Jackson, SuperTalk, Mississippi. Powered by your tree professionals at Barone's Tree Pros. Online at baronestreepros.com.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster.
You ain't woman enough to take my man.
The country star Loretta Lynn died at her home in Tennessee, 90 years old. The daughter of a coal miner and mother of 4 children. Before owning her first guitar in the 1950s, she had 51 top 10 country hits, won 4 Grammy Awards, and was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2013. The door-to-door search continues in parts of Florida, hit hard by Hurricane Ian last week. Fox's Steve Harrigan, just outside Arcadia.
Police and National Guard say there's still places they can't get to. This is 6 days in. We've talked to people who have been stranded. They said the water came up so quickly, they were simply surprised by what happened to them. So even with their houses flooded, a lot of people are commuting back and forth on this waterway. They say they simply don't have the money to go elsewhere.
At least 99 storm deaths are reported in Florida, 4 in North Carolina, 3 in Cuba. Another rally on Wall Street. The Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ all up more than 2% again. America's listening to Fox News.
Engagements offer the promise of eternal love. Confirm that inspiration with a stunning diamond from Albritton's. Every stone is carefully selected for its color, cut, and clarity. From classic solitaires to multiple stone selections, Albritton's offers the latest designs celebrated for splendor and value. Albritton's, 4 generations strong and still Mississippi's foremost diamond merchant.
Your next deal on wheels is at Pinnacle Motors. Head on over to Highway 471 at Baker Lane and Vine Street in Brandon for that no-hassle experience on your next pre-owned car, truck, or SUV. Classics from a 57 Chevy to a Corvette, we have those too. And grab that trailer to pull that four-wheeler, ATV, or tractor as well. Financing, warranties, and we'll buy your vehicle too. Pinnacle Motors is the place for you. Visit us online at PinnacleMotorsLLC.com. That's PinnacleMotorsLLC.com. Quality vehicles, affordable prices, Pinnacle Motors.
I'm Kelly Bennett, and you're listening to SuperTalk Mississippi News. The U.S. Interior Department has new policies that will require law enforcement officers to wear body cameras. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal has that story.
The U.S. Interior Department's new policies require their law enforcement officers to wear body cameras, but it also requires the faster release of camera footage from incidents that result in death or serious injury, and it restricts the use of no-knock warrant execution. The new policies apply to officers who work in the Bureau of Indian Affairs, Bureau of Land Management, Fish and Wildlife Service, and the National Park Service. Interior Secretary Deb Haaland launched a task force last year to examine their law enforcement officers' responses. Earlier this year, President Biden signed an executive order mandating federal law enforcement agencies to adopt body-worn camera policies.
For more information, find us online at supertalk.fm.
Twilight concerts at Renaissance are back as Ratchet Entertainment presents Blues Traveler and Government Mule live Saturday, October 22nd. Blues Traveler with Government Mule. Plus Bonneville. Tickets on sale now at twilightms.com for Government Mule, Blues Traveler, and Bonneville. Brought to you by Southern Beverage, Renaissance, Visit Ridgeland, and Watkins Construction. Produced by Ratchet Entertainment Group.
Are you an employer looking to diversify your workforce? Hiring workers with disabilities is a win-win situation. This is Chris Howard, Executive Director of the Mississippi Department of Rehabilitation Services. Call our Business Relations Specialist to learn how your company can benefit from no-cost, on-the-job training and receive tax credits when hiring workers with disabilities. We're a source of recruitment for pre-screened and job-ready applicants and are committed to being a valuable partner for employers. Visit our website at mdrs.ms.gov to find a Business Relations Specialist near you.
Country music legend Loretta Lynn has passed away at the age of 90 in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee. Lynn, who played many concerts at the Mississippi Coliseum, taught herself to play guitar and then went on to win 4 Grammy Awards. She was the first woman to be named Country Music's Entertainer of the Year by both the Country Music Association as well as the Academy of Music in 1975. And the nursing program at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College was recently ranked number 6 in the nation and number 1 in the state. If you're on the Gulf Coast celebrating Cruisin the Coast 2022, take a look up this Saturday around 2 p.m. for an aviation parade flyby that will start in Ocean Springs before ending in Bay St. Louis. With SuperTalk Mississippi News, I'm JT Mitchell.
Looking for something fun you and your family can do this weekend? Join Rebecca Turner every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. during Good Things to learn more about statewide events and happenings. Sponsored by the Mississippi Main Street Association.
My grandson wants to be a carpenter like me someday, but I'm the one learning when he's around. That's because he's part of the career and technical education program at his school. Construction isn't at all what it used to be. Has less to do with hammers and nails and a lot more with 3D imaging and math equations. No wonder they call it technical education.
Trade up. Discover the power of career and technical education and start building your career. This message brought to you by the Mississippi Construction Education Foundation. Building tomorrow's workforce today.
Tune in to Good Things with me, Rebecca Turner. It's Mississippi's Radio Happy Hour, weekdays from 2 to 3 p.m., right here on SuperTalk Jackson 97.3.
Welcome to the show that challenges you to think deeply, and look beyond political posturing. You're listening to Middays with Gerard Gibert here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Welcome back, everyone, to Middays Super Talk Mississippi, live from the Element Wealth Studios. We're getting ready to head down to the coast for Cruisin the Coast tomorrow on the Biloxi Green. Joining us now, Mike Love with the Beach Boys, founding member of the Beach Boys. Good morning, Mike. Thanks for coming on Middays.
Good morning, Gerard. Thanks for having me on the program.
Yes, sir.
Letting the folks know that we're going to be at the Beau Rivage Thursday and Friday.
Yes, sir. That is just awesome. Is this your first time to Mississippi?
Oh, heavens, no. We've been coming down to Biloxi for many, many years, even before they built the Beau Rivage. But, yeah, that was the Coliseum.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, great. And I know that we're all looking forward to that. And what a great combination. You guys performing at the Beau Rivage and Cruisin the Coast. Don't get any better than that. Mike, you've been performing now. Are you in the 6th decade or about to be?
You know, we're celebrating our 60th year.
Yeah.
Now we have got we've got an album called Sounds of Summer, and there's a 2 CD companion to it. So there's a 3 CD box set there they put out, Capitol Records did, and it's celebrating those 60 years of the Sounds of Summer. So that's what we're all about right now.
That is awesome. Do you still enjoy performing live, Mike?
I do. The audience still loves our songs, and particularly with Cruisin the Coast weekend, you know, we did a whole lot of car songs like 409 and Shut Down and I Get Around and Fun, all kinds of, songs having to do with cruising and cars. And so it's really, this is the time of year we love to come down to the coast.
Yeah, and you did mention Custom Machine, my favorite lyrics, by the way.
The Custom Machine, that's right, and Car Crazy Cutie.
Well, Americans definitely have had a love affair with their motor vehicles, with their cars for a long time. And what better music to listen to when you're cruising in your car, especially with the top down, right, than good old Beach Boys music.
That's correct. And we're probably responsible with some of these up-tempo songs for a lot of ticketing.
That's probably right. Well, I got to ask you, you've produced, I seem to recall from your discography, 29 studio albums. Is that correct?
I'm not sure. I lost count. But anyway, yeah, it's really a miracle, and we're blessed to be able to do what used to be a family hobby, but my cousin Brian and I made up some songs that people still love to hear, and we love performing them for those people.
How do you decide what to include in the set list, Mike, when you got that much content out there?
That's true, but there are some that were big hits, and they're obvious ones. Good Vibrations, Kokomo, and I Get Around, and Fun, 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 and Help Me Rhonda, and California Girls. So there's some songs there that we're going to do.
Yeah, yeah. And Mike, you make a point. It's fun music. It's just fun music. It makes you feel good.
It is, and the subject matter is a little bit unique because we start out with cars and surfing and stuff, and, get moved on from there to our Pet Sounds album with God Only Knows, and Wouldn't It Be Nice, and we still do those songs to this day, and it's a great thing.
So I got to ask you this, Mike. Good Vibrations, a masterpiece, no doubt, absolute masterpiece. So I recall reading a story about how revelational it was, how innovative it was, that the technology, the sound and the music technology available in those days wasn't certainly what it is today, but it was a remarkable accomplishment, how you guys layered all that in and tracked all that in. Anything you can tell us about that?
Well, my cousin Brian did several different sessions, several different studios for about a year's time before we came up with the composite that became the single Good Vibrations. And once he had that, I wrote the words on the way to the studio when we did the vocals that day, and I dictated the poem, which is the words to Good Vibrations.
Yeah.
To my then wife, while I was driving the studio,
oh, man.
I said, "Take this down." And so, it had the spontaneity of the lyrics combined with the track that had been, done in several different versions and several different sections. So it was kind of a costly thing for its time, but it worked out. It went to number one, and we were voted the number one group in Great Britain, number two being the Beatles in 1966.
Wow, that is so awesome. Well, I still enjoy the song and many of your songs, of course, to this day. And that's the other thing, Mike. Your song really it really doesn't know a particular generation. All generations enjoy it. You got to be proud about that.
That's right. In fact, our friend John Stamos, who is Uncle Jesse on Full House, put us on Full House because he loves the Beach Boys, and we get recognized by younger generations who's grown up watching that Full House and those reruns on TV, which is a very, very popular show.
That's awesome.
So we've been on lots of soundtracks of movies, and we've been very fortunate.
That is awesome. Now, you wrote a book, Good Vibrations, My Life as a Beach Boy, released back in 2016. What inspired you to put that down in writing?
Well, there have been a lot of opinions and second guessings and people that weren't actually there writing stuff about the Beach Boys, and so I thought I'd better do my part and say it like it was as far as the person who was there and, involved in the thick of things back there in the 60s and 70s and 80s and all that. So, it's just a matter of clarifying certain things and putting them in, putting out the truth of the situation rather than just relying on, secondhand knowledge.
Yeah, and sometimes people just like to promote a story, even if it's not true, for the clicks and their own benefit. And so you came in and just said, I'm going to clarify and tell you what really happened.
That's right. That's what I did.
You had three very talented cousins. How did you guys get together and form this band?
Well, my mom was crazy about music. She was one of 8 kids. Another one of my grandma Wilson's kids was Murray Wilson, and my cousins Brian, Dennis, and Carl Wilson were my first cousins.
Yeah.
And we would get together originally at Christmas parties and birthday parties and Thanksgiving and stuff. Any special occasions, there was always music involved. I mean, my parents had their music, and we had ours. Listening to the radio in the 50s, and with doo-wop and the Everly Brothers and Chuck Berry and Fats Domino and Jerry Lee Lewis and all that kind of stuff. And so we grew up in a family with I had a grand piano, organ, and a harp in my living room. So it was all about music. And so it just became that family tradition became a profession, fortunately for us. And so, and we're still doing it to this day.
So awesome. And the harmony, so did you figure out at some point when you were younger, Mike, that, hey, our voices sound pretty good together here?
Yeah, we would harmonize. We'd take an Everly Brothers song, and they're, of course, 2-part harmonies, and we make it a 3-part or even a 4.
Wow.
And the 4 freshmen were a big influence on us. They're amazing singers and great harmonies and close 4-part harmonies. They call it modern harmony back in the 50s.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we took those influences, the blend of the Everly Brothers plus the harmonies of doo-wop and the 4 freshmen and stuff, and just church music. We would go to Wednesday night youth night and do songs, church-type songs, and then we'd sing Everly Brothers on the way back from that church night.
Wow. That is so awesome. Well, I just want you to know that your music has brought a lot of pleasure and happiness to a lot of people throughout the world, and we are blessed, and the world is a better place for what you guys have produced, and it lives on. It is classic. It is timeless, and it'll be around for a long, long time, that's for sure. Thank you, Mike, and thanks so much for coming on the program. And good luck. I know you're going to do a fantastic job entertaining the people at the Beau Rivage on the Gulf Coast. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Gerard, for having me on the program and getting the word out. Thursday and Friday night will be at the Beau Rivage.
It's going to be a great time. Thank you, Mike. We'll step aside from the Element Well Studios on Middays. We're coming right back.
Get around, I get around, yeah, get around, round, round, I get around, 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 get around, round, round, I get around.
Carter Sledge Family Dentistry is just that, a family.
This is a whole new me, almost, And of course, I just started bawling, and then I looked around, and they had tears, and then it seemed like the whole office came in and looked, but it was just a feeling like I have never felt before.
Carter Sledge Family Dentistry, 772 Lake Harbor Drive in Richland, 601-607-7876.
Hello, I'm Gary Jolly from the Tractor Store. LS Tractor understands your passion for the land, and just like you, LS Tractor is committed to excellence and superior products. LS Tractor comes with a long list of standard features that are unmatched by other brands and backed with the LS commitment to provide exceptional customer service and satisfaction. You get a lot more for your money with the LS Tractor. Come to the Tractor Store in Richland to experience the LS difference. The Tractor Store in Richland.
I'm Mason Irby, your Madison County Edward Jones financial advisor. We're all about financial investments, but we also value the investments of time, patience, and encouragement our young athletes receive from their coaches, teachers, and mentors. That's why Edward Jones is a proud sponsor of Madison Central football on SuperTalk Jackson. Call me, Mason Irby, at 601-616-6872 or visit edwardjones.com for all your investment needs. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Magnolia Health is made for Mississippi. A statewide network of specialists and primary care physicians at more than 17,000 locations, community outreach programs, and quality jobs for nearly 400 Mississippians. Our commitment to building healthier communities in Mississippi has never been stronger. Learn more at magnoliahealthplan.com/benefits.
Are you in the market to buy or sell a home, but you're apprehensive because you've heard that the market has slowed? I'm Shelley Presley with Four Corner Properties of Central Mississippi, and I'm here to tell you not to worry because we are still booming. Rates are still relatively low, and our biggest hurdle is inventory, so it's still a great time to make that move. Call me today, and I will get to work for you. 601-622-0588 or at the office at 601-952-2828.
I'm Andy Gibson, your Commissioner of Agriculture, inviting you to the 163rd Mississippi State Fair in Jackson, October 6th through 16th. Enjoy a variety of fun-filled family entertainment free with your fair admission. Returning to the fair is the Extreme Bull Riding Fall Nationals and the Tri-State Rodeo, October 8th and 9th. Buy your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com or stop by the Coliseum box office. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter for more information. Come on out to the Mississippi State Fair, October 6th through 16th. I'll see you at the fairgrounds.
Hey, it's Richard Cross. Be sure to catch Sports Talk Mississippi, your new home for the best sports coverage right here in the Magnolia State. Every day from 3 until 6, right here on SuperTalk Jackson 97.3.
And now, the talk that keeps Mississippi talking.
Now, onto the real part.
Dynamite! On Super Talk, Mississippi.
Okay, speaking of get off my cloud there, I'll have to say I'm a bit on cloud nine. It's not every day a legendary musical artist of the caliber of Mike Love, founding member of the Beach Boys, addresses you by your first name. That's pretty cool. You have to agree. I'm on cloud nine. Is that okay? That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. That just means he's a good guy. That's what it means. And he was. Wasn't he great in that interview?
Oh, yeah.
He was so good. So good. So, and so humble. But gosh, he has a lot to be proud of. Incredible accomplishments. Using his God-given talents to make people happy. That's what artists do. It's what it should be. And such great music. All of it. All of it, honestly. The instrumental part of it, the vocals, the fantastic lyrics, much of which he wrote, composed, along with his cousin, Brian Wilson. It's just unbelievable. If you think about still performing that today, people still listening to that today, transcends the generations. 60 years. That's unbelievable. That means you made some pretty good stuff. That's what that means, when you can appeal. It wasn't just a flash in the pan sort of deal. Really, really cool. Really, really cool. Excuse me. So we were playing before we went to the break there at the top of the hour. Before we go there, John for Vance, how many original members are left? I love them. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Rhino, that Mike may be the sole member that performs live. I think I may be right on that. By the way, folks.
That performs, yeah.
Yeah. Mike is 81. You believe that? 81. Didn't his voice sound great for 81? He was just good. I'm blown away. So awesome. And we are so honored to have them in the great state of Mississippi.
Yeah, the three living members of the original Beach Boys are Brian Wilson, Mike Love, and Al Jardine.
Yeah.
And legally, according to contracts, okay, Love is the owner of the name Beach Boys.
That's what I thought.
And that's why he can continue to perform as such.
Yep.
And they occasionally get together, but the other two members that are still alive tend to perform in their own bands.
Yeah. How cool is that? Yeah. And then I believe it was, do you remember the trio girls group, Wilson Phillips, from the 90s, I believe? So that was two sisters, Wilson sisters, I believe daughters, if I'm not mistaken, of Brian. And China Phillips was the daughter of, her name escapes me, from the Mama and the Papas.
Yeah, Michelle.
Michelle Phillips, yeah. So weren't the Wilson sisters daughters of Brian? Is that right? I think I have that right. Yeah. And
Carney and Wendy.
Yeah. Fabulous performers, vocalists as well. Wonder how they got together. That's kind of cool. Pretty famous parents there too, huh? Really neat.
Apparently, they all grew up together in SoCal in the 70s and 80s.
Okay, well, that makes sense. I wonder if just as Mike described, they just get together and sing. Figured out, yeah, it sounds pretty good together. Huh. Pretty neat. I don't know. That sort of stuff fascinates me because they just have, just like these professional athletes, all these folks, they just have freaky talent. They're just freaks. In a good way. It's just rare. But when they utilize it, leverage it, and optimize it, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And we are better for it. Unlike this idiot congressman who thinks the government needs to control the economy and industry. Yet, fool Rob Reiner says we have to elect more people like this congressman so they can control more of your life on this pretentious reason being that otherwise we'll end up with a fascist state. It just doesn't reconcile. It doesn't reconcile. Wait, you want to control every aspect of my life, but you're telling me I got to vote for you to avoid fascism? It makes no sense. Where the essence of fascism is controlling everything. Unbelievable. Well, Nancy Pelosi is still predicting that the Democrats are going to maintain the House of Representatives. She was on Stephen Colbert. Speaking of idiots, by the way, and I don't like to call people by these names, he really has gotten wacko. I mean, he always kind of has been, but he's really out there. Do we have some sound here from Nancy? Here you go.
What is your prediction for the election that's a little bit more than a month away? Madam Speaker, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I'm so glad you asked that question because I believe that we will win hold the House. And we will hold the House by winning more seats. We won the 40 seats. Then we lost some when Trump was on the ballot. We lost some in the Trump districts, but we held enough seats to hold the House with him on the ballot. He's not on the ballot now. Oh, did I say his name? I didn't mean to.
We'll have the videotapes fumigated.
Perhaps you could bleep that out.
Worries,
Okay.
No worries.
We're going to.
How old is she?
82.
Acting like a 4-year-old.
Right. As she often does. No, let me rephrase that. Typically does. Customarily does. Regularly does. Right?
But then again, that's par for the course for the Democrats.
He
who must not be named.
That's right. We're going to hold the House because we're going to win more seats. Did you catch that? Oh, nothing gets by heard. It's just bizarre.
She had that canned and prepared and ready to go, and I wouldn't be surprised if she got the questions from him ahead of time. And you could tell she was a little perturbed that she had to stop what she was saying because of an applause break.
Which tells you the sort of people that attend the studio audience there, part of the studio audience at the Stephen Colbert Show.
It also tells you how shoved up her own rear end she is. You have an entire audience of clapping seals praising
That's
you,
true.
and you're upset that you have to stop mid-sentence. Why are you interrupting me with this applause? Even though you agree with me, don't interrupt.
Oh, have some ice cream there, Madam Speaker. Your $25,000 refrigerator. Well, that's a pretty bold prediction, though, isn't it? I would say it is. Just looking at the latest polls from 538, which is, I think, a pretty good barometer. It's usually fairly close. Here's the one I like. Nevada, up 1. So that would be a net additional seat for Republicans. Talking about the Senate race there. Assuming the Republicans maintain the other seats that are being contested, that they currently hold, that are being contested, most of which because of retirements. So North Carolina was one I was worried about. There's a +1 there. That is where who is it, Burr, that's stepping down, I think? What's his name? The senator from North Carolina that's stepping down. And so there's a race for his seat. Bud, the Republican, 538 shows up by a 44.7% versus Beasley at 44%. That's in North Carolina. Is it Richard Burr? Is that his name? Yeah. So in Ohio, this is one where we need to maintain the seat just to stay even. Senator Rob Portman, Republican, stepping down. And so what's happening there is Tim Ryan, who is, and I'm just going to call it, he's a liar. And I tell you why, because I've seen too many clips of him, Rhino, where he'll say something to appease the present company, right? The audience in attendance, to kind of rouse them up in a positive way. And the next day, he'll say something totally opposite based on the audience. He, of course, is a member of the House from Ohio, stepping into the Senate race. J.D. Vance, the Trump-backed Republican, they're neck and neck. It's 45 Ryan to 44.5 Vance. We need that seat, again, just to stay level at the present 50-50 split we have. Georgia shows Warnock up 2. Wisconsin has got the Republican up 2. That's a hotly contested race. The other one is this kind of surprising. Again, is Nevada. That's the one I can't get over. Arizona up 1 for the Democrat. We're coming right back.
From the SeabrookPaint.com Weather Center, I'm Bob Sullender. For all your paint and coating needs, go to SeabrookPaint.com. Today, sunny skies, high near 83. Tonight, mostly clear, low around 57. Your Wednesday rolls in with sunny skies, high near 84. Wednesday evening, mostly clear, low around 56. And for your Thursday, sunny conditions, a beautiful day on tap, high near 87.
This weather forecast has been brought to you by our friends at RJ's Outboard Sales and Service at 1208 Old Fannin Road. RJ's Outboard Sales and Service, your Yamaha outboard dealer in Brandon.
What if there was a paint that could awaken something as old as that Rip Van Winkle guy? Hey, what? Because it could adhere to the most weathered exteriors and completely restore its youth.
Hey, there's hair on my head again!
If a paint could give any time-worn surface stunning new life, is it still paint? Regal Select Exterior from Benjamin Moore. Paint like no other.
Seabrook Paints in Jackson and Ridgeland. Visit SeabrookPaints.com.
Hello, my name is John Merrill, the owner of Amada Senior Care. We're your local trusted advisor for senior home care. We provide experienced caregivers for your loved ones so they can remain in their home. Just like you would care for your loved ones, our employees provide assistance with their personal care needs. As your trusted senior advisor, I can help your family navigate the long-term care insurance process. Just call me, John Merrill with Amada Senior Care, for your free in-home consultation. 601-864-3752.
A Complete Flag Source is proud to announce that Mississippi has a new state flag. We are taking orders now for all sizes of the newly designed State of Mississippi flag. Flags are in production, and soon you can be flying one at your home, school, or business. Place your order by emailing at sales@completeflags.com, calling our store at 601-362-9333, or finding us on the web at completeflags.com. Have you paid a visit to our store? A Complete Flag Source is located at 5295 I-55 North, Jackson. Too far to visit? Give us a call at 601-362-9333 with your order or questions. Thank you for shopping local and supporting a Mississippi-owned business.
Jenny King, the king of clean.
How do you and your staff get things done? Teamwork. When a team works together, they can do anything. That's why all of us at Janny King, the king of clean, are excited to team up with you. At Janny King, our team has been working together for over 35 years, cleaning your places for work, education, medical attention, eateries, stadiums, and worship. Let our team help your team. Go to JannyKingCleans.com and trust your clean to the king. That's JannyKingCleans.com.
Jenny King, the king of clean.
I'm JT Mitchell, and you're listening to SuperTalk Mississippi News. The Mississippi Senate Study Group on Women, Children, and Families recently held its first set of meetings as lawmakers continue to look for the best ways the state government can support families. Senator Nicole Boyd is the group's chair.
Lou Ann Woodward, the head of UMC, really talked to us about the perinatal and postpartum, and then looking at infant health care and looking at the number of low birth weight babies that we have in the state. And she presented really great economic statistics on what that is costing the state and how that we have to do a better job for, women looking at their health care, but then how that we've got to do a better job on that.
The group also heard from officials from the Department of Health, Child Services, as well as the Division of Medicaid. The next meeting is scheduled for October 25th.
Hey, it's Richard Cross from Sports Talk Mississippi. Every day, be sure to catch the college football fix driven by Ford in your local Mississippi Ford dealers. Speaking of Ford, greatness starts with the 2023 Ford F-150. Winning requires the right game plan, like the impressive towing and payload you will only find in the 2023 Ford F-150 truck. No wonder Ford F-Series are America's best-selling trucks 45 years straight. Visit your local Mississippi Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com for details. And don't miss the college football fix.
MTV is celebrating 40 years, and Grammy Museum Mississippi invites you to explore the history of this iconic exhibit. Take a trip back to the beginning with artifacts and interviews with 4 remaining MTV VJs. Enjoy memorabilia from Michael Jackson to Bon Jovi, with historical moments in MTV programming along with interactives and more. To learn more about the MTV Turns 40, I Still Want My MTV exhibit, and other monthly programs and events, visit GrammyMuseumMS.org.
From the coast to the Delta and all points in between, the stories of your Mississippi, all 82 counties, are heard here. With SuperTalk Mississippi News, what happens? Why does it happen? And how will it affect you, your family, and your bottom line? From the capital to your county, we bring you the most important stories from all across the state. Stay here and stay informed. SuperTalk Mississippi News. Online at supertalk.fm.
Bring it on!
Middays with Gerard Gibert.
It is on!
On SuperTalk Mississippi.
Welcome back, everyone, to Middays from the Element Wealth Studios. Go to myelementwealth.com or call 601-957-6006 to let Element Wealth help you find your balance between income growth and guarantees. And speaking of wealth, the crazy markets, good grief, the Dow, not complaining, in the green, up 807 points presently after closing in the green, 700-plus points. The NASDAQ up as well, 351 points, up 200 and change yesterday. Big day. I think it's what the investment community likes to call capitulation, just saying, I think it's oversold, let's get back in. And it just, that momentum starts to gather, and it just drives it. Now, some of the pundits, the investment analysts, depending on who you want to listen to, say, nope, not over. October always brings surprises for the market, and we may test the lows again. That was brutal, watching all that red ink. Others are saying, I think this inflation thing may be starting to subside, and the Fed may pivot. 58% chance now from those who make those predictions in the investment community that the Fed will raise rates another 0.75 of a point at its November meeting. But there's a feeling, at least, a widespread one, that may be it, that the Fed may start to ease. Meantime, bond yields, the 10-year, which is what all your mortgages and consumer loans are built around or based on, down quite a bit. I think about 0.6 of a point. So anyhow, all looking good today. Yesterday was kind of a dour last week. One of the worst weeks since, if I'm not mistaken, 2020, last week. And overall, hasn't been a pretty picture for the markets. In the meantime, I just saw coming across the screen here, Rhino, that looks like Musk is going to follow through. You seeing that on his purchase of Twitter?
Price.
Yeah. And Twitter up, what, $6 or so as a result of that news, which is 15%. So those who invested in Twitter anticipating this may happen, which of course was going to result in a tidy gain for the stock. Well, if this thing does, looks like it has legs here, going to happen. How about that? So Musk says he's ready to go.
The question is, does the stock valuation rise to the valuation he's going to pay for it?
Yeah, and that's the question. But he says
he's going to be paying, what, 50-something a share?
Yeah, whether or not it gets to there, that's what he says. I don't know. We'll see.
$54.20 a share.
Yeah, I recall that as well.
And it's just shy of 48 right now.
And that's based on today's gain, right?
Correct.
Yeah. What's $6? Is that right? Is it up 6? I hadn't checked it.
Up 5.
5. Okay.
It was just shy of 43. Now it's just shy of 48.
Wow. So a friend of mine in the investment community just wrote that trading has been temporarily halted because he offered 54.20, tendered 54.20. This is a friend of mine that's a wealth manager. Okay, so it's trading's halted because there was an 18% gain. Wow, how about that? Offered $54, and so they stopped it. Well, we'll have to track that story. That is fascinating. And I got to believe that will energize the markets a bit as well. But, man, so, CNBC, here I'm looking at it. They're the first out with the news. Twitter shares were halted. Yeah, on Tuesday, after Bloomberg reported that Musk planned to go through. Stock jumped 15% and then was halted for a second time. Wow, everybody trying to get in on it. Well, because $54 is a lot more than the 44 that it was trading for. The guy's unpredictable. I mean, in a clever way, in a savvy way, I think. Wow. He alleged, of course, that Twitter was misstating the number of bots, the fake accounts. And accounts is the number of active users. That is the primary metric the investment community uses to really value and size up these social media companies, because that just basically means how many people are engaged in the platforms seeing the ads, because the ads are what generates revenue from them. I got to bring it up again. I will never forget when, about 3 or 4 years ago, when Mark Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey from Twitter, CEOs of those respective companies, Zuckerberg, of course, Facebook, and they went for testimony to testify to the U.S. Senate. And I don't even remember the reason why, honestly. I don't recall why they were summoned to the Hill. Do you remember?
Wasn't it misinformation in elections?
Maybe it was related to the elections. Anyhow, one of those senators, and I can't remember which one, asked him, literally the question was, Mr. Zuckerberg, how does your company make money? You can't be that clueless. So, but yet you're qualified to sit in that chair and question this person?
And make law that concerns his business?
Correct. Is anybody else disturbed by that? By the cluelessness by the ignorance. It's ignorance. You think you maybe would have figured that out before you got on national television and started asking questions? And I'll never forget Zuckerberg. I'm no big Zuckerberg fan, but his reaction, you know how they're always respectful. Well, thank you, Senator, for the question. You know how they always say, even though they think the question is stupid. Well, thank you, Senator, for that question. Sir, we sell advertising. That's all he said. Oh, gosh. Anyhow,
Congress legislating on just about anything tech involved would be the same as giving a toddler a toolbox and saying, fix the diesel.
No doubt. And this is why I have issues with them wanting to so-called rein in big tech. I have issues with that. I get it. I understand frustration because these guys do control an awful lot of the information that we consume, no doubt about it. And they're, for the most part, left-leaning. And there's all kinds of evidence that they filter out conservative thoughts and points of view and really do push left-leaning narratives. I get it. But do you want the government moderating that? Will that make it better? I say no. Makes it worse. So I'm not sure exactly what the solution is, but in my opinion, it ain't more government. But that's what they want, and that's what they're pushing for. Fascism, Philip in Walthall County on the C Spire text line. We were talking about Rob Reiner's idiotic, as you described it, Rhino, is an idiot. His tweet, and he's been tweeting a lot lately, really pressuring people to vote Democrat in the upcoming midterms. His latest is, if you don't want a fascist state, vote Democrat. You know, like the guy who is mad because we actually do take some stock in the value of free markets. That's the guy they want you to vote for. Anyhow, Philip says, fascism and National Socialism are two sides of the same coin. Both as leftist as possible, government control over healthcare, employment, industry, the dream of the American Democrat Party. And unfortunately, I think you're spot on there, Philip. There was a time, Rhino, when the debate between the parties, a lot of people like to point to what appeared to be a very cordial and productive relationship between Tip O'Neill, Speaker of the House, and Ronald Reagan, the president at the time, where they would just kind of hash out their differences, often over a toddy in the White House, and hammer out some policy and get some things done. But back then it was more about maybe the nuances and the extent or the degree of certain policy issues and matters. Now we're not even close, really, if you think about it, on policy. We're not close. I mean, just the philosophies of the parties. And I believe, personally, it's because the left in this country has just continued to surge further and lurch further to the left. It's just, hold my beer, let me see how more far to the left I can get. What really disturbs me that we're going to talk about is the extent to which these leftist philosophies and ideologies are invading our schools. That's disturbing at a minimum. We got some sound for you. Stay with us.
Spillway Diner, known for its great breakfast and lunch, is now open till 8 p.m., featuring a new special each night. Monday, enjoy all-you-can-eat breakfast. Tuesday, half-price blue plates. Wednesday, it's $1 wing night with 14 flavors to choose from. Thursday, all-you-can-eat fish fillets. And on Friday and Saturday, enjoy a juicy sirloin, ribeye, or filet, served with baked potato, roll, or Texas toast, and a drink. Spillway Diner's all-you-can-eat special feature menu is dine-in only, no sharing. Find them on Facebook for more on the new menu, hours, and location.
How can RJ Young help you? With digital communications, managed IT services, business process outsourcing, and office equipment and technology, RJ Young is your source for the technology solutions that power your business. For more information and a quick demo of the modern office and how it's increasing efficiency and bottom lines of businesses across the country, visit us at themodernoffice.com.
At Clinton Body Shop, we really do take pride in perfection, and that's why we've been awarded the ICAR Gold certification for our 30th year straight. Only 11 shops worldwide have accomplished this. This remarkable achievement can only happen with continuous training from ICAR and the manufacturers of the vehicles you drive. In fact, we're trained and certified by more automakers than any shop in the market. At a time when insurers are pushing more than ever for discounted and shortcut repairs that save them money, why not insist on Clinton Body Shop, where you get an OEM certified repair using certified parts? If an insurer tries to steer you somewhere else, tell them you want the shop that's certified by the manufacturer of the car you drive. We're located in Clinton and Richland, or online at clintonbodyshop.com.
This is the Midday Agri-Market Report. Mississippi Farm Bureau Federation is celebrating 100 years this year and this month. It serves as the largest and strongest general farm organization in Mississippi with more than 180,000 member families in 82 county farm bureaus. It is a voluntary, non-governmental, non-partisan organization seeking solutions to problems affecting the lives of farm families both socially and economically. In 1920, agricultural leaders began organizing farm bureaus in each county in Mississippi, and in 1922, Mississippi Farm Bureau Federation was chartered on October the 30th. In 1936, Farm Bureau Federation reorganized and divided into Farm Bureau and the Mississippi Federated Cooperatives, supported the passage of the Hill-Burton Hospital Act, and assisted in organizing the Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company and Southern Farm Bureau Casualty Insurance Company in 1946. I'm Dixon Williams. This is SuperTalk Mississippi Agri-News Network.
From Kansas to Ohio, that's where you'll find Pivot Bio. From the Mississippi Delta and the Chesapeake, Nebraska and the hills of Tennessee, proving on thousands of fields across this great land. When you work the ground till the sun goes down, Pivot Bio's got a plan. Greener plants in a healthy land, use our predictable nitrogen. Wherever farmers grow, yeah, that's where we go.
A ProBox has enough seed to plant 125 acres of corn. Now, if you wanted to put 40 pounds of nitrogen on those acres, you'd need 1,200 gallons of anhydrous, or 1,700 gallons of UAN, or 5 tons of urea. But what if that amount of nitrogen was already on your seed? Pivot Bio is now putting nitrogen on seed. The first company to ever apply nitrogen on seed. The nitrogen you need now on seed from Pivot Bio. Learn more at pivotbio.com.
This is Ben Shapiro reminding you to listen to The Ben Shapiro Show weekday nights starting at 9 p.m. here on 97.3 SuperTalk Jackson.
You know what that means.
Middays with Gerard Gibert.
We'll do it live.
On SuperTalk Mississippi.
I got rice cooking in the microwave. Got a 3-day beard I don't plan to shave, and it's a goofy thing, but I just gotta say, hey, I'm doing alright. Yeah, I think I'll make me some homemade soup. Feeling pretty good.
Welcome back to Midday Super Talk Mississippi. We are back on the C Spire text line. We played some sound earlier featuring a Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, the 82-year-old Speaker of the House, who predicted on the Stephen Colbert Show last night that the Democrats would maintain control of the House. On the text line, the reason she can make that prediction is that she knows the Democrats are going to cheat. Kelly, I disagree, and I will bet right now the Republicans will win the House, including taking away some seats, reclaiming. They'll have to, of course, to win the House, that are currently held by Democrats in districts that you think and are likely to feel that cheating may be occurring. In my personal opinion, guys, as long as we keep saying we lose because the other side cheated, we're never going to win. It's just my opinion. We need to be paying attention to the fact that the majority of the people in this country still, from a voting preference perspective, still lean Democrat. It works out because at the state level, there's not as much, are you a Democrat or are you a Republican with respect to electing governors and state representatives. Therefore, the districting is not so skewed in one direction, and I think on that basis, you end up with districts that can be won by Republicans, even though they're in states that are majority blue Democrat states. I just think we've got to be aware of the general sentiment and preferences, unfortunately. And I think that's just because the messaging is not resonating, that we're indoctrinating a lot of young people. And that's been going on for a while. It's not just current day. They demand and expect more from government. You've got corporations across this country, agencies as well, public sector agencies and entities, all of which are engaged in this equity effort, initiative stuff, all of whom are really pushing that and are abandoning meritocracy often in favor of equity. And I think that's just a Marxist leftist philosophy that is influencing people. And we, of course, don't believe in that. We believe in performance-based outcomes, and that often is not received very well. It's just incredible how that is perceived as and viewed as just unfair. So Rhino just sent me an article, a prime example, very pointed example, in the New York Times. New York University, one of the nation's prominent universities. Students were failing organic chemistry. Who was to blame? And so they're blaming the professor, saying his class was too hard. The standards were too hard. Now, I got to tell you, Rhino, I shared this with you during the break. When I was a freshman at Ole Miss, something like a third or 40% of the freshmen came in on the campus majoring in pre-med with the intent of becoming doctors, right?
We can put a face and a name on that. I don't think you would mind me telling you this, but longtime listeners to the SuperTalk network will remember Captain Jared Bounds, who's now serving this country in the military. He went to MC with the intention of becoming a doctor. He got a D in organic chemistry and realized maybe being a doctor wasn't for him.
Well, as I recall, it was organic chemistry, and you just looked it up. I remember the freshmen, when I was on campus that year as a freshman, and in subsequent years, oh, yeah, they're all coming in. I majored in pre-med. Sure, and by the first drop date of their freshman year, they're out. Because whichever the chemistry class was they were taking as freshmen, did you say inorganic maybe?
Yeah, it depends on which college you go to. It could be inorganic or you could have freshman organic.
Well, it was kicking their butt.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like F, bullets, 0. Just couldn't do it. It's hard. And would spend an inordinate amount of time studying it. I mean, freshmen, first day of class, in those books, in the stacks, and still fail at the test. But it was kind of intentional. You want to work on human beings? You got to be pretty smart. That's the way you want it. It should be.
An added layer of entitlement to these NYU students. You had two choices of class. One was lecture-based, one was a newer version. You could choose one or the other, but you weren't supposed to share notes. Well, they had a chat set up where they were sharing notes and cheating, so the professor just made it harder, so it'd be harder to cheat. And then they got upset because the class was hard.
Says here in the article, 82 of his 350 students signed a petition against him. It's too hard. What kind of crap is that?
The march to mediocrity.
What did Tom Hanks say in A League of Their Own? The heart is what makes it great. Applies here. We're coming right back. Russ Latino, president of Empower Mississippi, is with us.
Your home for Ole Miss sports. WFMN Flora Jackson. SuperTalk Mississippi. Powered by your tree professionals at Barone's Tree Pros. 601-345-8090.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. President Biden spoke again with Ukraine's President Zelensky this morning as Ukrainian troops continue their counteroffensive in regions that had been taken by Russia.
The U.S. is expected to unveil another $625 million military aid package, this one featuring 4 more of the advanced rocket systems that are helping Ukraine keep Russia at bay.
Fox's Jill Nato. An American shares this year's Nobel Prize in Physics.
Frenchman Alain Aspect, American John F. Clauser, and Austrian Anton Zeilinger grabbed the top prize by discovering the way that particles known as photons can be linked or entangled with each other even when they are separated by large distances.
Fox's CJ Papa. Country music star Loretta Lynn died 90 years old in her sleep at home in Tennessee, according to a statement from her family. America's listening to Fox News.
As locals, ADS Security is committed to keeping the community safe. We're the same great company, same local office, with the same local service you've counted on for years. Visit us in Gluckstadt. ADS Security, 601-898-3105. Call today.
Family Termite is a proud VIP sponsor of the Handyman Show on SuperTalk Mississippi. Whether you're a proud DIYer or a seasoned veteran, Mississippi's handyman Buddy Slowick has the answers to your home improvement questions each Saturday from 10 till noon.
I've got to get that fixed.
Uneven driveways causing headaches? Helms Polyfoam will fix it without tearing up your driveway in the process. We inject Polyfoam under settled concrete to stabilize it in a matter of minutes, not days. Polyfoam is used on runways, railways, and highways, so there is no question it will support your driveway. We also repair seawalls, sidewalks, pond dams, retaining walls, and unstable soil. Visit HelmsPolyfoam.com or call Helms Polyfoam at 601-966-7821.
I'm JT Mitchell, and you're listening to Super Talk Mississippi News. A Gulfport man set to stand trial for stabbing his father to death back in 2021 has been found dead. John Anderson was out of jail on bond awaiting his November trial to start when officers found his body. And the Mississippi State Fair returns to the capital city this Thursday. We sat down with Commissioner of Agriculture Andy Gibson this morning to talk about this year's entertainment slate headlined by Scotty McCreery.
Scotty's going to be there Thursday, October the 13th at 7:30 on the main stage, and we've got B.O.B., we've got David Lee Murphy, who is another country music star. The day is going by, Midnight Star, Bobby Rush, and a lot of good local artists and bands like Chad Perry, an Epic Funk Brass Band, Mark Powell and the Voices of Christ, Alan Sibley and the Magnolia Ramblers.
For all things Mississippi, find us online at supertalk.fm.
Just 3 words tell you everything you need to know. They tell you why we employ more than 2,000 workers at our factory in Virginia Beach, and why over 10,000 local steel dealers are putting battery power in the hands of Americans. Just 3 words. Made in America. Real steel. Find yours at steelusa.com. The majority of steel products sold in America are made in America of U.S. and foreign materials. Batteries and chargers are sourced internationally.
Why? Just think about it. Why is the #1 selling brand of chainsaws not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot? We can give you over 10,000 reasons. That's how many authorized local steel dealers you can find across the country. Visit one and you'll find a range of dependable gas and battery-powered tools, from trimmers to blowers. And you'll find service from experienced professionals. Real steel. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
Southern Miss will play its first conference game of the season this weekend when the team travels to Troy. Head coach Will Hall took some time this morning to talk about what kind of measuring stick the Trojans serve as.
If we win, it's obviously a huge step forward because, nobody really talks about us ever in the Sun Belt West. Nobody really gives us any credit. We're always big underdogs. And that's probably what we should be, right? We've earned that through our play over the last 3 years. To be thought of differently, we have to, our reputation and our actions have to do different things. So to go over there and play well in that environment and possibly get a win would obviously change a lot of people's opinions of us. We're not going to be a finished product either way. We got to keep working. It's early in the season, our first conference game.
The Golden Eagles, who are coming off an upset victory over Tulane, are looking for the team's first conference win as a member of the Sun Belt. Kickoff is set for 6 p.m. Central. I'm JT Mitchell, SuperTalk Mississippi News.
America's largest block party, Cruisin the Coast, is back October 2nd through 9th, celebrating its 26th anniversary with nonstop fun and entertainment from Moss Point to Waveland on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Middays with Gerard Gibert will be there live with our friends from Coastal Mississippi Tourism Wednesday from 10 to 1 p.m. at the Biloxi Town Green. Rated the #1 car show in the country by USA Today, it's America's largest block party. For more information, visit coastalmississippi.com.
Fall is here, which means school is in session, cooler weather, and football. If you are like most families, you're always on the go. Polk's has great dinner ideas for your busy family, like Polk's smoked sausages or delicious ham steaks, great for something quick and easy. Or how about Polk's Cajun or garlic and green onion smoked sausage? Add great flavor to your red beans and rice, jambalaya, gumbo, or spaghetti night. There's no buts about it, folks. Picky people pick Polk's.
To all the folks in the Capital City metro area, love to have you join me tomorrow morning, 6 till 9, Gallo Show. We'll start your day the informed way. Super Talk Mississippi 97.3.
Get ready to go beyond the headlines and join a meaningful conversation with people from around the state. Hello? You're listening to Middays with Gerard Gibert here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back, everyone. Middays, Super Talk Mississippi. Gerard and Rhino in the Element Wealth Studios. We thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, we're going to be on the Biloxi Town Green tomorrow for Cruisin the Coast. That ought to be a lot of fun. The weather's supposed to be fantastic. And looking forward to seeing all the good people and those classic vintage automobiles. That ought to be a lot of fun. Let's see here on the C Spire text line. David in Jackson says, "Hey guys, great interview. Love the Beach Boys. You've got me singing California Girls now. Thanks for all you do." David from Brandon. Appreciate that, David. Really do. Let's see. Cedric from Dido says, "Excellent interview, G." Appreciate that, Cedric. Hope you enjoyed it, man. Thank you. John from Vance says, "I'm on cloud nine. You said my name." But I'm not a globally recognized musical artist, but I appreciate that, John. I just thought that was pretty cool. So just indulge me on that. Let's see, Jerry in Waynesboro, before we get talking to Russ Latino here, says strategic reserves are depleted. Saudi cuts 1 million a day, and U.S. producers are not ramping production due to investments held for green sources of future energy. Well, the strategic reserves have been reduced. They're not totally depleted. I think that was a poor move on the part of Joe Biden, and I think with the world on edge and so many hot spots around the globe and a hurricane that just came through, and fortunately it didn't seem to have affected any of the oil production facilities in the Gulf, could have. That's what those reserves are for. They're a cushion. They're protection against any kind of black swan events like that. So that was bad policy, all in an attempt to get the price of gas down, I believe, so as to maybe soothe the concerns of voters. The Saudis and OPEC actually has come out and said they're going to reduce production because they're trying to get the price back up. I still think it lands by the end of the year between $80 and $100. We'll see. But appreciate that text. So joining us now, Russ Latino, president of Empower Mississippi. Thanks for coming on, Russ.
Great to be with you, man. And if I can give a brief shout out, my wife just texted me and said that she and my daughter are listening in the car right now. They were on a field trip, so shout out to MG. Love you, baby.
That's awesome. That is awesome. All right, so let's start with this, Russ. You attended the State Policy Network annual meeting in Atlanta. That was 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
And I came over for a day as well. And it's fun being around people. First of all, the best takeaway from that is being around people that think like you, for the most part, right?
No, absolutely.
And there are a bunch of think tanks from across the country. What's really fascinating to me, Russ, is that in meeting with some of those folks, our state is a red state, is a fairly conservative state, certainly when you compare it to many of the other states. But the think tanks that exist in the blue states, it's always fascinating to me. How the heck does that work out? And so Grant Callen, the CEO of Empower Mississippi, and I had a meeting with the group from Pennsylvania.
Commonwealth,
yeah. Well-known, well-established, old conservative think tank. And basically their question to us when we were just having a conversation is, how could you guys have problems, right? You got a Republican governor, a Republican lieutenant governor, you got Republican control of the House and the Senate, and it's a rational question. How could you have problems? And then when they started discussing some of the uphill fights they have with a democratically controlled legislature,
sure,
it's mind-boggling to hear that. Yeah, it's just a different set of issues. So,
it is. I mean, and look, the great thing about that meeting is it brings together 1,500 people, to your point, who they don't all share the exact same viewpoint, but they all are aligned in wanting to change the country for the better, right?
Agree.
And they believe that individuals and families are the heartbeat of this country, and that responsibility really rests in those local units, right?
Yeah.
In people themselves and in their families. And so you end up coming away from those meetings incredibly inspired, knowing that you're not alone, right? Knowing that there are a lot of people that are working to make their states and this country better through good conservative policy and good conservative thought, and by engaging their communities. I will tell you, your point about Commonwealth is an interesting one, because both of us have advantages and disadvantages. Yes, Empower operates in a state that is deep red. Supermajority Republican chambers, every statewide elected official is a Republican. There are challenges to that, because in some ways it is easy to become complacent when you feel like everything is going the direction it should go, right? And so it is easy to see an environment become one that is stale, where people aren't willing to take on challenges or rock the boat. I think largely, to the leadership's credit, they have been willing to do that. Maybe not as far at times as I would necessarily go if I were king for the day, but certainly have made an awful lot of progress over the last decade.
Yeah.
If you're Commonwealth in Pennsylvania, you're in this unique position of being able to be the opponent, right? So it's freeing in a way, because you get to give voice to the opposition. And in a lot of ways, that can be a lot of fun. I don't know if you've ever been engaged in a political contest where you're the underdog, but there's a certain degree of real fun involved in that, because
you're attacking a little bit, you're condemning and attacking, and you're targeting. Right? Yeah, absolutely.
So, in the situation in Pennsylvania with Commonwealth, excellent organization, but they've also sort of been a funnel, if you will, for combating some of the union behavior that's happened in Pennsylvania, that gives them unique relationships with businesses in their state.
Yeah.
And so every state is unique, which is great, because we're supposed to be laboratories of democracy.
Right.
Every state has its pluses and its challenges. I think the cool thing about that is, one, it's a recognition that the conservative movement has grown. The conservative movement has actually been effective, Gerard. And then on top of that, I think there's this sort of recognition that we've got to continually sharpen each other. And so you're learning about things that are happening in other states that have been effective, and then taking those lessons back and figuring out what translates for Mississippi.
Yeah. I'm going to share an observation with you that is germane to this discussion and get you to react, Russ, that when we talk about conservative philosophy, there doesn't seem to be as broad a consensus of what comprises conservatism, what defines conservatism, as there does on the left, let's just call it liberalism, for lack of a better term. And it seems to me like there's more alignment. If it means higher taxes, more government, more intervention, more control, more central planning, they just seem to be for it. Whereas on the right, we have like varying degrees, maybe, of our opposition to more government. And sometimes that kind of filters out as, well, I can get on board with this, but not with on that, for example. And I kind of feel like that's what happens in our state a little bit. We kind of have varying degrees. They're all are affiliated with the same party, but it's like sometimes pulling teeth to get someone, well, this really is a conservative play, a conservative principle. We need you to help with that. Your thoughts about the distinctions there?
Yeah, so a few things. I mean, one, I would say that liberals aren't liberal. And what I mean by that is liberalism used to mean that you essentially allowed people to live their own lives without interjecting.
Classic liberalism, as they call it. Yeah.
Right? Without interjecting. And so that meant defending free speech. That meant defending property rights. That meant the ability for people, if they wanted to do business with each other, to do business without the government interjecting. And so classical liberalism and conservatism actually overlap really well. I think what we mean today when we talk about liberals is just sort of ridiculous progressivism, right. Which is what you said, just sort of central control of government. My sense is that that conservatism has lost its way and its meaning for a lot of people. If you look back historically, there is a rich philosophical tradition of what it meant to be a conservative, right? You believed in not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, that there was some accumulated wisdom that came from previous generations that should at least be taken into account before you made sweeping changes. You believed structurally that government was supposed to be small and that powers were supposed to be divided so that, as James Madison said, ambition could counteract ambition, right? So that government didn't become this all-consuming powerful thing. You believed in property rights. You believed really in natural rights coming from God. And those were things that were at the heart of traditional conservatism. What you see today labeled as conservatism is a lot of ways just how do we own the libs? And that could mean really big government.
Yeah, that's right.
As long as we're in charge. And we can talk about that more. But
we'll come back and continue that discussion. Yeah, I hear you and I agree with you. I'll leave this thought with you. I think the Heritage Foundation has kind of a summary of what they define as conservatism that seems to be the best I've seen in that respect. We'll come back and talk some more with Russ Latino, president of Empower Mississippi.
Nicely done, Beef. When football fans everywhere cheer for their team, they're cheering for you too, because your savory snacks fuel the gridiron battle. With your tasty sliders, hearty chilies, and drool-worthy steaks, every option is an MVP. Most valuable protein. So gather around the TV and get cooking at BeefIt'sWhat'sForDinner.com. Funded by beef farmers and ranchers.
Hello, I'm Gary Jolly from the Tractor Store. LS Tractor understands your passion for the land, and just like you, LS Tractor is committed to excellence and superior products. LS Tractor comes with a long list of standard features that are unmatched by other brands and backed with the LS commitment to provide exceptional customer service and satisfaction. You get a lot more for your money with the LS Tractor. Come to the Tractor Store in Richland to experience the LS difference. The Tractor Store in Richland.
When you choose Roto-Rooter, you'll get honest estimates and no hassle guarantee so you can get it fixed quickly and enjoy peace of mind. We're there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, day and night, holidays, and weekends. We've been providing service to Mississippi for over 80 years. Call the original Roto-Rooter, 601-353-3333. Mention this ad to receive $25 off any service.
Call Roto-Rooter, that's the name. And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Jenny King, the king of clean. How do you and your staff get things done? Teamwork. When a team works together, they can do anything. That's why all of us at Janny King, the king of clean, are excited to team up with you. At Janny King, our team has been working together for over 35 years, cleaning your places for work, education, medical attention, eateries, stadiums, and worship. Let our team help your team. Go to JannyKingCleans.com and trust your clean to the king. That's JannyKingCleans.com. Janny King, the king of clean.
This is Allison Callaway. Since 1954, Callaway's has been family-owned and operated. Located in Gluckstadt, south of Germantown High, Callaway's has a large selection of all your favorite trees, shrubs, and fall color plants. Callaway's has large rolls of pine straw, and we offer quantity pricing. Callaway's outdoor patio furniture is in stock and ready for delivery, all 20 to 50% off, and for a limited time, free delivery in the metro area. Our farmers market is full of fresh fruits, vegetables, fall pumpkins, local honey, jellies, jams, and the best tomatoes in town. Callaway's has farm fresh produce 7 days a week. Did you know Callaway's has beautiful decorative accessories and gift items for your indoor and outdoor living spaces? Callaway's has bulk soils for pickup and local delivery. Callaway's landscape designers Clinton Streeter and Corey Castle can design and install your landscape. Callaway's Gluckstadt on Calhoun Station Parkway, south of Germantown High.
Everything for home and garden, that's what Callaway's is.
Gallo here with a special invitation to join us weekday morning, 6 to 9. Breaking news, quick shots, analysis, all right here on Super Talk Jackson 97.3.
Okay, is everybody ready?
I'm ready. Ready here.
Middays with Gerard Gibert on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Back in the Element Well studios with Russ Latino, president of Empower Mississippi. So we were walking out a bit there, having fun though, just talking government philosophy, I guess, and approach and principles. And I just made the comment that the left just seems to be a little tighter with respect to their alignment and doesn't ever seem to be willing to say, no, you're going too far. It's too much, too radical. You're lurching too far to the left. I don't see that a lot out of the left in this country these days. In fact, they keep pushing the envelope, whereas on the right seem to be varying degrees, and maybe that's given rise to a term that I don't ever use and I don't like, the rhino, Republican in name only, right? I don't use it. I think it's kind of silly, honestly. I just mentioned that, and I pulled it up while we were on break there. The Heritage Foundation published what they call, and this goes back to 2019, defining the principles of conservatism. And this was actually mostly drafted by K.C. James, African-American female. You remember, the president and the leader of it. But anyhow, it just lists about 10 bullet points. The two I'm going to mention right now that I think resonate with me more than any, that I've actually used on the program before, and they concern taxes and regulations, which kind of the almost pernicious way, I think, and veiled approach to expanding government. Anyhow, this is what they say. Tax policies should raise the minimum revenue necessary to fund only constitutionally appropriate functions of government. Regulation should be limited to those that produce a net benefit to the American people as a whole, weighing both financial and liberty costs. I just thought those were very well stated. And when you talk about, well, what should our tax structure look like? Well, that's the best answer I've ever seen. The question we have is, we can't agree on what the constitutionally appropriate role of government is.
No, absolutely. I mean, and it's even harder at the state level. I mean, this is something that we've always said in the context of tax reform, is that taxes should be low enough to fund the core functions of government. But even at the state level, that becomes more difficult because you don't have the same constitutional limitations.
Right.
On what the state can do that the federal government, at least in writing, has. Now, in practice, the federal government has no limitations. They have figured their way out of it. I would summarize it this way. It used to be that in this country, the philosophical divide, at least as it was on government's role, was between people who thought that the government ultimately was responsible for the well-being of everyone, and then conservatives who believed that individuals were responsible for their well-being in an environment that had opportunity and equality, which is way different than equity, right?
Yep.
And so that was the chief philosophical divide, really, if you think about sort of the Reagan era of republicanism and conservatism. What we see now is there's still that wing of quote-unquote conservatives, right? People like me and you probably, that believe government should be limited. But the prevalent thought process in Republican circles now is not one about the divide being between government and people. It's about who controls government's power.
Yeah.
And so really what we've boiled it down to is wanting to have absolute political power so that we can control people that we disagree with. And that's happening for Democrats, and unfortunately that's happening with the Republican Party to some degree as well. I think there's a tremendous opportunity for conservatives and for Republicans, though, to sort of reassert this idea that we believe in people, we believe in freedom, we believe ultimately that the way that you have a thriving society is not government control. And if someone could do that well, if someone could articulate that message well, I think we'd see, and really multiple someones, I think we'd see the Republicans in a much better position than what they currently are. I mean, you got to realize, Gerard, we're in a situation right now where Democrats should absolutely be getting their butts handed to them in the midterm.
Yeah.
Highest inflation since the 1970s, highest interest rate since the 1970s. You know, we're in a recession, despite what Joe Biden may say about the new definition of what a recession is. On and on and on. Crisis in the Ukraine and Russia, open border, all of these
crime.
All of these things that people are looking at in normal circumstances would almost guarantee a midterm wave, unlike anything we've ever seen. And instead, we're very unlikely to take the Senate based on current numbers. In fact, we're likely to lose.
I think so, too.
Well, certainly Pat Toomey's seat, where Dr. Oz is getting his backside handed to him. And then, so you've got that, and then you've got a House situation where it looked like we were in the driver's seat. I still think we'll win the House, or the Republicans will win the House. But it's gotten a lot closer. And I think part of that is there are some middle ground people, college-educated folks, who don't like the new brand of republicanism, and by that I mean sort of the Marjorie Taylor Greene type personality, right?
Populism more.
They want some serious thinkers to be leading the party. And if I think we got to the point that we could empathize with what people are going through, which is a form of populism, but truly empathize with what people are going through and have serious thought leaders drive a message of how we get out of this problem is by reverting back to what made us successful in the first place, that we'd be in a situation where Republicans would be much more dominant right now than what they are.
It just seems like we don't have effective spokespeople, effective communicators that are able to sell these limited government philosophies. They get just so wrapped up and tied up in what red meat rhetoric can I throw out there today to try to rile up a base, but that's not producing votes, I think, is the problem.
I think there was probably a thought process at some point, and both parties have done this, where they look at it and say, name ID is everything in politics, right? Yeah. And so how do you build name ID? Well, you either build name ID with an existing celebrity, or you build name ID by doing things that people go, what in the world did they just say? Right? And so, the truth is that we probably need a little bit more boring in our life.
Yeah.
But it's hard to sell boring.
It's hard to sell boring, right. And I often say that it's hard to sell freedom when people view so often that the cost of that freedom means I don't get more government stuff. And not realizing that, well, yeah, you're giving up some freedom by agreeing to receive that or supporting receipt of that, the largesse of government. Somehow we've gotten off the rails there, and we've got a lot of people who, yeah, I want more government. We got to figure out a way to fight that, and until it starts affecting people directly, they just don't seem to be on board with it.
You know, one of the interesting things, Pew has been doing research for 50 years on people's trust in institutions, churches, businesses, government, etc. If you look at the trust level that people have in Congress, it's as low as it's ever been.
Yeah.
Same thing with the presidency, the U.S. Supreme Court, on down the line, businesses, healthcare, etc. All of that trust in key institutions has been eroded, Gerard, except for one thing. People have more trust today in small business than what they did 50 years ago.
Interesting.
What that suggests to me is that people intuitively recognize that what happens in their community, that they can see, that they can touch, the people they know are more trustworthy than what's happening far afield.
Makes sense.
And so if we can return this conversation to one about how do communities solve problems, then I think there's something there to be a winning message for conservatives who believe that ultimately communities are responsible for solving their problems.
Right. Well, so the trust is developed when you can look someone in the eye, so to speak, and have a dialogue with them and have a relationship with them, and that occurs, as you said, at the local level, in the community, with local business people. You don't really get that. And there was a time, honestly, I will tell you, forever took any interest whatsoever in politics, which only came about, and I've told that story before, in 2008. And it's because I always felt like, well, they're up there and I'm down here. Just leave me alone. I'll do my thing. And it should be that way, honestly. That's the way I think our founders envisioned it and the way our Constitution framed it. But it got to a point where, they're talking about this health care thing, and they're going to put this requirement on me as an employer. That's crossing the line there, and that's what triggered my interest in politics. Well, now you feel like, and certainly when I was in business, you better be checking on this every single day. You don't know what's coming down the pike from these guys, and it's disturbing.
So if you look at where progressives are today with the cultural stuff, the woke stuff that literally no one except for a sliver of our society buys into,
right,
there is a tremendous opportunity to bring over constituencies that have historically voted Democrat if we can give them a safe, reasonable place to land. Because I guarantee you that the average Rust Belt union worker does not subscribe to AOC-style politics, doesn't subscribe to California values. That is not who they are. And so I think there's a tremendous opportunity for a landing ground if we can get our own act together.
We're coming right back. We've got Russ Latino, president of Empower Mississippi. Stay with us. We're in the Element Wealth Studios.
From the SeabrookPaint.com Weather Center, I'm Bob Sullender. For all your paint and coating needs, go to SeabrookPaint.com. Today, sunny skies, high near 83. Tonight, mostly clear, low around 57. Your Wednesday rolls in with sunny skies, high near 84. Wednesday evening, mostly clear, low around 56. And for your Thursday, sunny conditions, a beautiful day on tap, high near 87. This weather brought to you by our friends at Gaddis McLaurin Mercantile since 1871. For all your deer camp needs, stop by today. Gaddis McLaurin Mercantile in downtown Bolton.
At Batteries Plus, we power family road trips. We power bedtime stories. We do more than replace batteries and fix phones and tablets. We help our neighbors power their lives. Visit us in-store, curbside, and at batteriesplus.com.
37 years. That's a long time, and that's how long Shapley's Restaurant has been bringing you the finest in steaks, seafood, and, of course, our homemade hot tamales. This is Mark Shapley, and we are proud that we are celebrating our 37th year in business. Shapley's has been a staple in the greater Jackson market and had the pleasure of serving guests from around the country. This couldn't have happened without you, and we are so grateful for your continued support. Shapley's Restaurant, 37 years and counting. Come see us soon. 601-957-8000.
Magnolia Health is made for Mississippi. A statewide network of specialists and primary care physicians at more than 17,000 locations. Community outreach programs, and quality jobs for nearly 400 Mississippians. Our commitment to building healthier communities in Mississippi has never been stronger. Learn more at magnoliahealthplan.com/benefits.
Hey, this is Bob, and if you're like me, you like dealing with local people. Majestic Metals was founded in Mississippi in 1954 and are headquartered right in Gluckstadt. For complete metal building systems and steel roofing and siding, call the hometown folks. Majestic Metals, 800-647-8540 or online at majesticmetalsinc.com.
Why don't you mind your own business?
Mind my own business? What's that supposed to mean?
No, I was just thinking about all of the news of tax changes, insurance changes, regulations that are being passed down to business owners. I don't have the time to keep growing and to keep up with changing payroll regulations.
I know. It seems like all I do is handle employee-related problems.
You know, I hear People Lease can help.
How can they help?
People Lease can handle our payroll, taxes, employee benefits, and workers' compensation. They even offer an affordable and customizable 401k program and a 24/7 online human resources support center for all my HR needs.
Think of all the time we'll save letting People Lease handle our payroll and benefits administration. I'll be busy growing my business and letting People Lease take care of the rest.
Sounds like a good business plan with People Lease.
Let People Lease mind your business so you can mind your own business. Call now, 601-987-3025. That's 601-987-3025. Or visit freepayrollquotes.com for your free quote.
I'm JT Mitchell, and you're listening to Super Talk Mississippi News. A Gulfport man set to stand trial for stabbing his father to death back in 2021 has been found dead. John Anderson was out of jail on bond awaiting his November trial to start when officers found his body. And the Mississippi State Fair returns to the capital city this Thursday. We sat down with Commissioner of Agriculture Andy Gibson this morning to talk about this year's entertainment slate, headlined by Scotty McCreery.
Scotty's going to be there Thursday, October the 13th at 7:30 on the main stage, and we've got B.O.B. We've got David Lee Murphy, who is another country music star. Days going by, Midnight Star, Bobby Rush, and a lot of good local artists and bands like Chad Perry, Epic Funk Brass Band, Mark Powell and the Voices of Christ, Alan Sibley and the Magnolia Ramblers.
For all things Mississippi, find us online at supertalk.fm.
Are you thinking about retirement, or are you recently retired? Do you have a plan, or do you have a drawer full of statements? If your answer is the latter, then you're not retirement planning, you're retirement hoping. Risks and inflation are rising, and planning is critical now. At Element Wealth, our exclusive 360 process can create a strategy to help protect what you've worked so hard to build while still providing growth. To start the conversation, visit myelementwealth.com or call 601-957-6006. 601-957-6006.
How has Mississippi Farm Bureau Federation impacted your life over the last 100 years? Connecting the state through broadband service, protecting your private property, great insurance, member benefits saving your hard-earned income, and oh yes, our farms grow the cleanest and safest food in the world. Agriculture and so much more. We're what's best for all Mississippi. The Mississippi Farm Bureau Federation. 100 years of faith, family, and Farm Bureau. Become a member today at msfb.org.
He doesn't accept the narrative. He questions it.
We're just getting to the bottom of this.
Gallo.
Every single morning from 6 till 9.
Super Talk, Mississippi. No other news team covers the Magnolia State like Super Talk Mississippi News. On air with reports every hour and breaking news as it happens. Your news all the time. On air and online at supertalk.fm. Come on. Middays with Gerard Gibert.
All right, we are back
on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back, everyone. Midday Super Talk Mississippi. This is interesting here, Russ, on the C Spire text line, which, by the way, is 609-879-4395. I'm a current senior political science student. What y'all are saying is 100% correct. The Republican Party can once again become the mainstream party that way. You know, politics, as you know, Russ, it's selling.
Yeah.
You got to sell. And I've often said that we got to do better at selling freedom. That, in general, and at the heart of our policy positions, is freedom and free markets. The way it was intended, the way we got great, honestly. And we've drifted away from that. And I think you're right in that we get caught up in these sort of political banters back and forth, and we look for what red meat talking point can I just throw out there and get everybody clapping. And both sides do it, and we sort of stay away from the critical, thorny, contentious policy issues that really are the things that affect our lives, not these red meat rhetorical talking points. We got to do better at selling freedom and better at explaining why some of these bad policies ultimately are bad for you and bad for everybody.
And some of that is the authenticity of actually believing in freedom ourselves.
Good point.
Including the freedom for people to do things that we don't necessarily approve of or like, or say things that we don't necessarily approve of or like, or businesses to engage in ways that we don't necessarily approve of or like.
Yeah.
Right? That is also freedom. Right?
Yeah.
And so I think part of it, if you're looking at the current situation and you don't like what the Democrats are offering, the Republicans have an opportunity to prove that they actually believe what they say. We've gotten into the position that we're in because for decades, Republicans have talked about limited government. They've talked about free markets. They've talked about the advantages of family values and community-driven solutions. And then they've done the exact opposite.
Yeah.
That's not all Republicans.
Yeah.
But if you look at Congress and spending as an example, when Republicans are in control of everything, spending has continued to skyrocket just the same way it skyrockets when Democrats are in control of everything. So the problem is we've told people our philosophy is good, but we've not actually acted on our philosophy in a way that is authentic and accurate. And at the same time, people are looking around and saying, well, you told us all this stuff was going to work, and it hasn't worked the way you told us. So to me, what has given rise to the current environment of populism, what has given rise to the level of uncertainty that people feel, the need for security that people have, is that Republicans sold something that is beneficial, and they didn't live up to what they sold.
Good point. I think that's true, but let's take something that's near and dear to your heart and mine as well. It's tax policy.
Sure.
And so tax policy is just a huge aspect of the federal government's operations. It just is. So not only is that the revenue that is used to fund the government apparatus, tax policy affects every single one of us from an economic perspective. It just does. So we had the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act passed under President Trump. The fact is, we all benefited from that. The economy at the macro level benefited, at the micro level, households benefited, businesses benefited, yet the left continues to this day, right, to denounce it, to criticize it, to condemn it, and still frames it as, it was just tax breaks for Trump's wealthy friends. You hear that over and over again. But it doesn't seem like we talk about that enough to me. And maybe it's just because I happen to like tax policy because I just think it's so critical. But your thoughts about that? And look at the state of Mississippi while you're at it, before I give you the mic there. Congratulations on winning the award at the State Policy Network in no small part. In fact, in large part because of you and your efforts, and you're working with the legislature to really craft that legislation and to push that through and to get folks on board. So if folks didn't know, the State Policy Network nationally awarded Empower Mississippi the national award, right, for tax reform?
The biggest win for freedom, which is the sort of the bigger award that they give out. Certainly a lot of people played a hand in that and was proud to be a part of it. I think what I'm proud of from a contribution standpoint is, we had been pushing this idea of a 4% flat tax as the first step, and really felt like it would be good neutral ground, depending, based on the fact that the House and the Senate had very different approaches, and it ended up proving to be good neutral ground. And so proud of those contributions. Great coalition of people that worked on that policy. Think it will be a very positive policy for Mississippi. Also worked on the Tax Cut and Jobs Act.
That's right.
So what I will tell you is that the tax policy there was largely good. The doubling of the standard deduction probably felt nice, but what it did was narrow our tax base so that
took people off the rolls.
It took a lot of people off paying any income tax. So now you have a majority of Americans that actually have either no tax liability or negative income tax liability. It's a lot harder to want to hold government accountable when they're spending someone else's money.
True story.
And so that's a negative. The other negative, and this was something that conservatives said throughout the Tax Cut and Jobs Act debate, was the tax policy itself was fine and good and would be stimulative, and it was pre-COVID. But without pairing it with spending reductions, we were setting ourselves up for a future tax increase.
Yeah.
And probably one that was imbalanced, probably one that came in the form of a wealth tax, as an example, which is the worst possible tax. It's a tax on property. It's a tax on investment. It leads to people leaving the country with their money, which is what all the European nations that did it found out, and most of them have now repealed their wealth tax. But that's an aside. There was concern around the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, not on the tax policy side, but on the fiscal side of the coin.
Yeah.
And why I am critical of congressional Republicans is not that they didn't implement good tax policy. They did. I'm critical that they didn't pair it with good spending policy.
Yeah.
And some of that just gets to the point where we should have fiscal rules in place for continuing resolutions. We should, actually pass budgets from time to time and find ways to reduce spending. So the initial point, though, Gerard, is essentially this, that I think that Republicans would be in a far better position, one, if they stopped giving a microphone to the crazies, step one. Two, if they lived up to what they said they believed when they're enacting policy.
Well, there's no doubt, Russ, that you and I live in a state where we see it and hear it all the time, right? And that the Republicans do get blasted, do get criticized. I personally think, and I've said this many times on the show, all too often, just to get elected, they make promises, certainly at the congressional level, you can't keep. You're just one vote. Now, to maintain and promote the idea that this is what I advocate for, and I'm going to be on the front lines fighting for that. Hey, the reality is, folks, this is what you got to have. The majority in the House, generally 60 votes in the Senate, and a president willing to sign off on that.
Absolutely. I mean, what I would say, though, if you looked at a congressional campaign, what they're really trying to say is, I can move my caucus.
Okay.
And so what you're really trying to elect is someone that you think can get in the Republican caucus if you're a Republican or the Democrat caucus if you're a Democrat and move other members towards you. Because ultimately, that sort of triangulation is what controls what leadership does. And look, I've had these conversations. I've heard Mitch McConnell say, as an example, in the Senate, send me more conservative people.
Yeah.
Right? If this is what you want, you need to move the caucus.
That's a good point.
Right? So when we're electing someone to be in Congress, what you're really electing is someone, can they articulate a vision that moves their fellow Republicans or their fellow Democrats in caucus such that leadership cannot ignore the will of the caucus?
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. I'm just really making the point that I think the disappointment often comes from the fact that during campaigns, you state a lot of intentions, sometimes as promises. I'm going to do this, that, and the other. But you really can't. And there's got to be a better way to message it. And I think then the disappointment sets in when you don't get it done. And then you're subject to all the criticism. People say, well, you said you were going to do this, that, and the other. It's still going on. What gives here? So there's got to be some way to craft that communication, that message that doesn't place that liability on you. When you didn't get it done, you're out now, sort of deal.
Yeah, and just so I can clarify, I am being critical of where Republicans have been over the last several decades, because I think we haven't lived up to our promise.
Agree.
But I is one, right?
No, I agree. I hear you. Yeah, makes sense.
And it's a bit like when you've got a problem in your family, it means more to you to solve that problem than it does if there's a problem in somebody else's family.
I totally agree. Well, we'll come back. We got another segment left on Middays. We're in the Element Well studios with Russ Latino, the president of Empower Mississippi.
For all your glass needs, call Venable Glass Services. Glass Networks. They're going to try and steer you to use their own glass shop. Well, you can tell your insurance you want to use Venable Glass, and there'll be no additional cost to them to get the highest quality glass. Venable Glass is locally owned and operated, and they do windshield replacement and rock repair right there in their shops, or they'll even come to you in the Tri-County area for free. That's right, free mobile service. At Venable Glass, they also do frameless and frame shower doors, mirrors cut to size and installed, picture frame glass, tables, desktops, insulated glass, plexiglass, commercial storefronts, and heavy equipment glass. Venable Glass. They'll come out and give you a free estimate. They want to work hard for your business. Venable Glass. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and on Saturday, 8 to noon. Hey, there's 2 locations too, in Ridgeland at 660 Highway 51 North and Brandon at 209 Woodgate Drive South in Cross Gates. Check them out on the web at venableglass.com. Remember, for all your glass needs, call Venable Glass Services. 601-605-4443.
At Clinton Body Shop, we really do take pride in perfection, and that's why we've been awarded the ICAR Gold certification for our 30th year straight. Only 11 shops worldwide have accomplished this. This remarkable achievement can only happen with continuous training from ICAR and the manufacturers of the vehicles you drive. In fact, we're trained and certified by more automakers than any shop in the market. At a time when insurers are pushing more than ever for discounted and shortcut repairs that save them money, why not insist on Clinton Body Shop, where you get an OEM certified repair using certified parts? If an insurer tries to steer you somewhere else, tell them you want the shop that's certified by the manufacturer of the car you drive. We're located in Clinton and Richland, or online at ClintonBodyShop.com.
Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet is Mississippi's largest General Motors business elite dealer. We make it easy to maintain your fleet with over 100 work-ready vehicles available for your job site. Diesel, gas, trucks, vans, and service bodies. And we build to your business specifications. It really is easier with Rogers Dabbs Fleet. Call the Rogers Dabbs Business Elite Fleet Team today at 866-671-4226 or visit us online at rogersdabbs.com. Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet. Find new roads.
The Gallo Radio Show is brought to you in part by TrustCare, where you'll find a team of experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff. Visit TrustCareHealth.com to schedule an appointment today. TrustCare. Feel better, faster.
The best made-to-order lunch in Northeast Jackson is at 4th and Gold Sports Cafe. The wings, the chicken tenders and bites, fried or grilled, and the best specialty pizzas in the metro. Call 769-208-8283. That's 769-208-8283. 769-208-8283.
Pine Grove Behavioral Health and Addiction Services in Hattiesburg is one of the nation's most comprehensive treatment campuses. Pine Grove provides the highest quality mental health care for children, adolescents, and adults. Pine Grove also features several specialty addiction treatment programs for men and women. Additionally, Pine Grove specializes in the treatment of licensed professionals. Please call 1-888-574-HOPE for more information and visit pinegrovetreatment.com.
Hello to all you sheriffs and jail administrators. Mississippi Industries for the Blind can help with your jail's cleaning chemicals and inmate supplies. MIB offers products that are safe to the officers as well as the inmates. Our budget-friendly Correct Pack products have been used in Mississippi prisons for over 20 years. MIB also offers jail mats, linens, and personal hygiene items. So if your facility needs good, safe products, reach out to MIB today at sales@msblind.org.
Arm yourself with everything you need to take on your day. Wake up with Gallo tomorrow on 97.3 FM. SuperTalk, Mississippi. You're listening to Middays with Gerard here on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Welcome back, everyone. Yes, bumping us into this segment here. The Dow up 712 at this point. It's kind of a head scratcher. Thomas, by the way, in Greenwood says, what's the Republican Party going to do in a decade when all the boomers die off? And it would be worse if Democrats no longer works as a strategy. It's an interesting point that Thomas makes there, and I think that's when you got to come up with some messaging that is appealing to the next generation of voters. Right now, it just seems like more government seems to be the preferred message.
I think we are squeezing the turnip, and we'll see if at some point the turnip runs out of juice. I would agree with Thomas's point for what it's worth. Right now, if you're part of the Republican apparatus, you should be very concerned that you're not killing it heading into the midterms. And you should start building a long-term strategy and a long-term coalition that includes not only your existing base, which is shrinking, but also that recognizes that there are some really sensible people out there who feel like they don't have a party at all.
Yeah.
And sanity at this point would be a selling point.
That's
right?
true.
Just reasonable thought would be a selling point right now. And, for that to happen, I think we've got to stop giving the microphone to people who are temporarily popular, but who alienate huge swaths of that winnable middle.
No doubt about it.
And look, for most of my life, people describe me as being right of Attila the Hun. No, I'm serious. Like, people would introduce me that way at parties. And now, people have occasionally called me a moderate. I haven't changed at all. I still believe in low taxes, limited government, right? I still believe in family values. All of those things are still there. I'm just not angry all the time.
Yeah, I agree. And so we've gotten, the rhetoric has gotten so out of control on both sides that everybody's described as radical. And Rhino and I've talked the last couple of weeks, the word fascist seems to be more common in the vernacular than it's ever been. And both sides is fascist, which is kind of crazy in my view, to the point where it dilutes the true meaning of the word. I think is what happens.
Yeah, Do I think that there is a risk in populism that it evolves into fascism? Yes. There's a million historical examples of that. Do I think that word is being thrown around recklessly right now and doesn't accurately describe where the politics are? I also think that is true.
Yeah, I think so too.
Look, the truth of the matter is, and nobody wants to admit this, but the reason that fascists and socialists hate each other so much is that they're two sides of the exact same coin.
Somebody said that earlier.
They both want government control over people. They want to use that power differently, but they both want absolute control over people through the instruments of government. So it's no wonder that they hate each other. They're kissing cousins.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that as well. Jeff in Hattiesburg says, can you give your thoughts on why party money always goes to the incumbent despite their voting history or lack of real conservative values? So, that's one thing you could say about Mitch McConnell, who makes it very clear every time senators are up for election, we're only supporting incumbents here. Yet, on the other hand, as you indicated, Russ, he says, send me more conservatives.
Yeah, so I think there's probably a fair amount of politics in both of those statements. What I would say is that it is natural to dance with the devil you know.
Sure.
And there also is an element of this that not only says, I may not like everything the incumbent does, but is there someone that I think would do better?
Yeah.
And what is the risk that I'm taking by supporting an upstart?
Yeah, that you don't know except from their campaign or maybe a little bit in their history.
That risk is both from a policy front and also from a recognition that there's sort of a sunk cost in the incumbent. And if you're going to try and kill the king, you better kill the king.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, particularly if you're in the business community, are scared from the notion of how do I kill the king? And I think that plays a role.
It does, however, I think you would agree, introduce a little bit of lack of accountability, which there should be every time there's an election cycle. And so maybe that kind of influences their voting practices a little bit. Well, this may not be totally popular, but I'll still probably get elected because I've been here.
Yeah, I mean, there's an element of that. Obviously, it is very difficult to beat an incumbent.
There's no doubt about it. And there's a lot of people that say, I'm for term limits, but, mine's okay. That's okay. We keep sending them back, right? It's not my representative or senator's the problem. It's yours. You see that a lot as well.
No doubt. No doubt.
Well, it's been a fascinating and enjoyable discussion, Russ. I always appreciate you having on the program. I'm going to be off Thursday and Friday, and you're filling in.
I'm going to come in and get back in the chair. I used to do a good bit of it.
I know you did.
Looking forward to it.
I know the audience is too, and appreciate you doing that. I'm going to take the family off for a little vacation over the weekend. So, anyhow, we're out of time here on Middays. Thanks for coming in, Russ. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We will be at Cruisin the Coast tomorrow. We sure will. Rhino will be here in the Element Well Studios. I'll be down there at the Biloxi Town Green. Until then, stay safe and God bless everyone.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.